right, and we're live, man. And so today's episode is with my friend Azmyth Kaminski, who, we've known each other, I think, since 7th grade.
Yeah.
Centennial, right down the street from here.
Way back.
The year that you were a toilet for Halloween.
Toilet boy, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, Tony didn't like that. He had a little issue with me at the in lunch one day.
That's right. Someone broke a portion of your toilet.
Oh,
right?
He ripped it off me. I don't know what it was, Tony. He had an interesting energy at that time, and so he literally, I was walking by and he tried to rip the damn thing off me. But hey, I made it up on stage. It was like top 10 costumes because it was definitely weird as.
There you go, man. And so we reconnected recently. I would say over the last 2 years, and you're doing some interesting things. As you guys can see, if you're watching on YouTube, which most of you aren't, we have some cannabis plants in the studio today, and Azmyth has just been, I don't even really want to try and unpack it. I'll let you do it, but basically like a big focus on plant medicine, natural healing, and all that kind of stuff.
Huge.
I had my friend Tyler Stanaway on recently, who did an ayahuasca ceremony, and I'm telling you, that episode got more feedback than almost any of my episodes.
Yeah.
And I think it's because people are ready to move further and further away from big pharma and get in touch with their bodies and get in touch with like the natural environment and use what's available to us naturally to enhance their life, both like physically, mentally, and spiritually. And so we've been talking about sitting down and kind of unpacking what you do and sharing your company with the products that you make and what you are producing for a while now, and now we finally are making it happen. So thank you for doing this, man.
Yeah, thank you. It's perfect timing. It's been in the works for quite a while, and there's been a lot to change and evolve over the last 7 months, which I'm sure I'll get into as scratching the surface as much as I possibly can. But I guess starting off, what we were another company. Right now we're called Sun now, which is science under nature.
Okay.
Because science should always come second to nature. Nature should always come first, at least in my eyes. And exactly what you're talking about with Tyler right there. We've talked about his ceremony and interacting. We're definitely connecting out of all the guys in the group. Because he's definitely on that level, done a lot of deep research. And it's really cool to see exactly what you're talking about. There's so many people that have realized that this just isn't working anymore.
Yeah.
That's just one system out of many systems that are not working anymore. And it's time for us to really pay attention to Mother Nature, because when we actually look at nature, the system's perfect. Mm-hmm. There's no authority. There's no there's competition, but it's natural. It's trying 1,000 things right now that we will never see, and some things will make it. And those are the trees that we do see, right? So there's so much out there that we have no clue, and to think that humans know so much, our arrogance is beyond us, and that's why we're in the deep pile of shit, literally, that we're in right now.
Yeah, and I think it's fascinating because most Americans, and myself included, and I'm not even saying that I have an understanding of what's right and what's wrong even now, but for our whole lives, if you fall down and bang your elbow, pop this pill. Yep. If you wake up sore because you worked out hard, pop some ibuprofen. If you have a headache, take a Tylenol. And on and on and on to, we have a quick fix to everything. And for me, now, like at 40 years old, like Motrin was candy in the Army. Motrin for everything. And now we're finding that a lot of that stuff is toxic for the body. And this isn't just like, these like shaman that are way out in left field. This is being understood even by Western medicine ourselves. Like when I had my knee done with exosomes and stem cell treatment, the doctor said, make sure you do not take any ibuprofen for, I forget what the period of time was, but it was a long time leading into the procedure, because he goes, ibuprofen will mask pain by diminishing some inflammation, but what it does is it actually diminishes your ability to heal. And it can be in conflict with the treatment. And it's like, fuck, man, everybody's been popping something to address any type of ailment their whole life. And so I'm trying to get farther and farther away from it. And the people that I see that are embracing this, they just seem to be more in touch with their body, have a better understanding of the needs and how to treat different ailments and whatnot. And I'm excited to continue to shine a spotlight on this. Like my platform kind of blew up as like a freedom-based platform, right? and people are sick of the government overreach and the tyranny and all that. And this, I feel like these different communities are kind of coming together. And this is actually a big part of that, because big pharma is one of the evil entities that has its hooks on American society.
I can honestly say there's nothing good about it.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's when you really get down to it, sure, there's a lot of surface conversations, but when we start looking at the AMA and how they literally destroyed naturopathy, homeopathy, chiropractic, anything that was natural, that wasn't part of their system, that they weren't willing, those systems weren't willing to pay into their education type of literally programming, they shut down, and that's why we're where we're at. I mean, imagine if, something I've been thinking about lately, and why the cognitive dissonance and what we've been dealing with for the last couple of years relating to COVID-19 is the fact that imagine if the thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, 4 to 10 years of your life was spent becoming a doctor, and then you start digging deep and start realizing that every single thing, almost every single thing, because we already know, how many times have we heard this, they give you like 4 hours or 2 days on nutrition. Yeah, which is number one.
Yeah, exactly.
And how many years on indoctrination. Imagine if you found out that everything that you spent all this time on was literally a fabrication and a lie built on oil, pharmaceutical, drugs that have nothing to do with nature, other than the fact that oil comes from nature, but it's all these man-made, we think we can always do better. And again, like we're talking about with the Motrin, the fact is that it causes more miscommunication in the body. The body doesn't know what to do with it, even though it functions, and we know how to make it work in the body at whatever level that is. It's going to cause more inflammation down the line. Mm-hmm. It just masks. Again, they're band-aids. We all hear this. Almost everything in that arena is a band-aid that is going to make it far worse later on down the line. And I'm sure. Again, I talk to people all the time that they found a drug, a pharmaceutical, something that has changed their life. That doesn't mean that nature doesn't already have the answer for in 10 ways. But thankfully, they found something that works for them. And I totally understand. And we both know why people gravitate towards certain things is because they have tried so many things and nothing worked. And when they find one thing that finally works, dude, the commercials that we see all day long, I understand why so many people are willing to take, I was talking to a friend about this last night. Have you ever tried the pill? It's a scam. It's a scam, obviously. But all the pills that these people are taking, right? It's a scam. Diazepam, whatever these things that they're coming up with. If you had a problem for 20 years of your life that was debilitating, fibromyalgia, whatever, these lots of different issues that are caused from the reality that we currently live in because people are not taking in the food that they truly need, and we've been lied to about that as well. Imagine if you hear all these other symptoms that are coming up with it, I mean, besides death and thoughts of suicide and leaky ass syndrome, all these other things that are going to come across, you're like, well, I might get that, but I might not. Maybe my luck's going to be better than the next person, but at least I won't have this one thing. So they're willing to take on 20 new side effects because they've never experienced leaky ass, so that they can get rid of this one thing that's been debilitating for 10 to 20 years. Yeah. So it totally makes sense why the mindset, and it is, back to the beginning of this conversation, we want this to answer everything. Yeah. We don't want to do the work. Humans are so fucking lazy. I'm going to enjoy this podcast because I'm going to be a little bit more blunt and like open.
I welcome it on this platform.
Because I work with a lot of people from children to animals. They probably don't know if I'm swearing. Maybe they do. To adults, and I try and keep it as level-headed and balanced as I possibly can. But it's really fun when when I'm talking to friends. I swear I'm a sailor. Yeah, actually I'm a pirate. All right, I got a history of pirateness. So it's nice to be able to just be more open with everybody. And sometimes we have to hear the tough talk. Yeah, we really do. I mean, that's why your podcast has done so well, because it's time to shake people up.
For sure,
We've been sleeping for so freaking long, and people are far too comfortable. Even all the way down to TV, they finally figured it out after new media was really confusing to all the production and series. They didn't know how to monetize it yet. Now we got Netflix, where I've fallen victim to it. So easy. Let's just binge for the next 10 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They got hooked.
Netflix even said, you know what their stiffest competition is? Sleep.
Wow, that's a statement.
Yeah, think about that. And I mean, that's a whole other podcast in itself, because we now know, like, fucking with your sleep patterns, lack of sleep, it literally causes brain damage.
It's one of the worst things we can do to ourselves.
You know? No, I'm excited for this because a couple things come to mind. Like you said, like Americans don't want to put the work in, right? But that we're also averse to pain and adversity.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I had my knee surgery, my knee was hurting. But that's because that's your body saying, hey, something's going on with your knee. This knee just went through a traumatic experience and it's throbbing and it hurts. And they gave me a bunch of Oxycontin. And the next morning, I just went and flushed them all down the toilet. And I was like, I'm in pain right now, but I've had friends through jiu-jitsu get addicted to painkillers. And I tell myself I'm too mentally strong for that. That can't get me. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not true. I mean, everybody probably thinks that it's not going to get them. And now look at our society. Look at how many people are addicted to opioids, and it's absolutely ruined their life. And so I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to feel this pain for the next few days and not even bring that to the table. And man, we're tougher than we think. We're tougher than we think. You see those videos of deer walking around that have had like their leg ripped off by a mountain lion or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they're still just walking around and they're trying to live life. Like, if you have the will to survive and the will to win, man, you can overcome a lot.
Anything.
But we are super averse to any type of adversity, any type of pain. And, another thing I was thinking of while you were talking is like, let thy food be thy medicine. Mm-hmm. The number one killer in America right now is heart disease, arterial sclerosis. Oh, yeah. Like, we're killing ourselves with our food, but then nobody puts any weight in fixing ourselves with our food. And it's kind of bizarre, right? And the fact that they don't shine a spotlight on that or put any emphasis on eating nutrient-dense food that could actually build a stronger, more resilient body, that, in my opinion, lets us know that this is calculated. And there are key players that are promoting an unhealthy lifestyle because, let's face it, if we just treat the ailments and not the foundational problem, you got fucking customers for life, right?
We know it's a sick system, not a health system.
Exactly.
We have to start talking about everything exactly how it is. We have to really understand entomology a little bit, break down words, find the roots, and then understand the programming that's happened, the indoctrination system, and really start calling it out. One day I was talking to a friend and randomly yelled at him, alternative medicine, and I stopped myself. I said, alternative? No. Alternative, right? So it's native medicine. It's the alternative to alter. It's a conundrum right there because it really truly is the medicine that's been around. TCM's been using traditional Chinese medicine, has been talking about cannabis since 2,500 years ago, right? Or 2,500 BC. So it's ridiculous they've literally taken everything and mangled it, manipulated it into such a way that the whole system, this whole 3D reality that everybody is involved in right now is a complete fabrication. Mm-hmm. And we're here to unpack that, to actually listen to these great thought leaders and each other and really start, and this is a thought I've been having lately too, is the fact that one of my favorite quotes that I've ever come up with is, think about the things you think about. Why do we want to do that? Because most people have a hard time even listening to another person. Like when we were just talking there, I had 5 different thoughts that I would have loved to talk about, from the deer to everything else, right? But when we're in the moment, we're here to take that last piece and then move with that. If we can reconnect it, and it usually will come back around, then great. But so many of us literally sit there listening to somebody and I got jokes personally, I'm ready to fucking go. I had to learn my own lesson because I drop a joke a minute and a half later and it would just fall dead because it was pointless now at this point. But to be able to think about where we're currently at and all the information that we've been taught, everything that you've been taught, everything that I've been taught. My mom, she taught me amazing things. I have one of the most amazing mother in the world. I'm so, so blessed. But who was she taught by? The teachers that taught us, who were they taught by? They were taught by somebody that was taught by somebody else, that was taught by some other book that was rewritten by somebody else. It's the longest game of telephone, at least in this civilization, that has ever been going on. Who the fuck knows what is real anymore? Unless it's tangibly in front of you. You've touched it. I've grown these plants. These are my experiences or things that I've had. If I know that you've had this experience specifically, one of the guys posted something, or actually no, I think they might have posted it before. We talked about it, and then I just saw it on the Snohomies the other day, and it was the guy that was talking about his kid who was given antidepressants, right? It was all angry, and somebody else, I think Scott, made a really good question, or raised a good question, going like, who is this guy? Are they adding vitriol and division and inflaming a situation, or is it real? We have, and I posed that question. Somebody said, oh, they're in Snohomish. I said, do you know them? Or do you know somebody that knows this person? Because if nobody does, we cannot prove this. And it was on a big podcast that the piece was used from. And they said Snohomish, right? And we've gotten a lot of attention over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Starting with BLM and Antifa, and just there's been a lot of tension here for such a beautiful little place. But we have to seriously continue questioning things until we're staring at the cord and going, okay, I've got it. I see that this is the chord that you're talking about. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe it, and don't believe it. Be really careful about what we sink our teeth into and then start espousing and sharing with other people, because we've all done it. We've done it for a long time until we realize that we're doing it. And we share something with somebody. Oh shit, where did I learn that? Who told me that? What peer did I have that I trusted, or media did I listen to that I was interested in so fervently that I wanted that to be real. And so we locked it into our brain as something that was a truth. Mm-hmm. But goddamn, it's insane. There's so much that we have to unravel in ourselves just to get to a baseline where we feel like our infrastructure, the construct of our mind actually is founded on not mud and sand, and actually something worth its weight in the world.
Yeah.
Even though this is frequency, but physics, right? That's you get into that one too.
So I think this is just a good time to really just go into kind of when you started developing an awareness for this, when it started impacting you, and then how you started implementing it into your life and taking it into, not only a profession, but like a passion. I mean, you said your mom taught you a lot. Is natural medicine and being in tune with nature and all the stuff that you're big on part of your upbringing?
I would definitely say yes, because my biological dad and my mom, we built our own log home on 5 acres out here in Snohomish, and I was raised on a farm. I'm plant-based, but I helped butcher the Cornish game hen. I cried when they killed Peanut Butter and Jelly, our pigs. I've always been in touch with all of our animals and creation at that level. And also involved in the experience that we as humanity have been involved for a long time. There's certain things we have to do to survive until we find a different way. I'm not going to say a better way. So I wouldn't say necessarily the herbal side of things, other than culinary herbs, rosemary and thyme and things like that, that mom probably used for cooking. Mm-hmm. It wasn't really around me as a child so much, other than having the strawberries and the fruit and the vegetables. So I was raised that way, and then to really start looking at where my mind started shifting, I was probably going to be a track star in right before 7th grade, right around when we met. And then I started smoking weed, and then that turned into everything else I started getting into. And so
it's the stepping stone.
It is. Yeah. Well, it literally just opened my eyes. I was already an interesting kid. I was already into art. I was already started dyeing my hair before dyeing really started becoming a thing at that time, or at least available with Punky Kill and these other things. And I started smoking pot, and that shifted me away from whatever lifestyle I thought I was, because I was always the kid on the playground that was, I was friends with Darren and Luke and Aaron and Josh, these other, I would say jocks at the time, right? And preppies. I was in soccer and all this other stuff. And so I was always the different kid, because I wasn't rich like everybody else, but I wanted to fit in. And I was definitely the kid that would go out and be like, I dealt with this with Brian once in high school. He was poking at somebody and said, wait, you know this guy? I said, yeah. And he stopped, right? So it was this crazy thing of like, once you've been vetted, this association that other people have, all of a sudden it's okay not to pick on, you shouldn't pick on somebody because somebody else knows that person, which is just mind boggling, right? Like, why are we picking on people anyways? And we're on a strange tangent right here. But the fact is, I was always the kid that would go out and stop other kids from getting picked on. I don't know, because I was raised with love. I don't know what that was. I mean, that's got to be. We'll probably get into this part as well. But my mom, my parents, my mom, my dad, literally, and then my stepdad, I've got 2 amazing dads, literally gave me all the beautiful love and support that a child could ever have. We weren't rich. We weren't poor. I was always taking care of whatever that was. And a concept that's been brought up that I found recently through somebody we'll probably talk about a little bit. The idea that, and it makes so much sense, is that that humanity and most humans in general are dealing with a extreme case of abandonment.
Yeah.
And you can look at that in so many different ways, from their parents or how they were raised. I mean, I literally attract friends because of the path that I'm on and have for a long time, because we've had such a good, loving, compassionate foundation at our place here. We've helped raise many friends here for small times. And to be able to have that, you end up pulling in and attracting other people because they see a light, right? They want whatever that is, or they want to shift away from whatever it is experience they've had. And past the abandonment issue that a lot of people, probably I'd say upwards of 60 to 70% of all humans on the planet have dealt with something, when that goes all the way down to molestation and rape and not having enough, or parents not being available and having to work too much. It's just all part of the system. It's not necessarily all the parents' fault, but it's part of the system they've been stuck in that creates these other issues. And then the bigger problem past that is the thought of a cosmic abandonment issue that Mark Passio talks about. And it really does make sense, because whether you're religious or not, we don't know why we're here. We don't know how we got here, whether it's evolution or it's the Anunnaki, or who knows? Who really knows? We've got ideas coming from reincarnation to people that have had out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences. But until we know it ourselves, it's still somebody else telling us something that they've experienced. And it really does make a lot of sense. Like, who is this? What is this thing that created us? I mean, I have my beliefs of consciousness, intelligence, creation, the universe, just saying, this is it. We're making it. I made that. I made this. I made you. I made him. Like, it's all of these things. We're just creating, and it's a beautiful way to look at it. But imagine it's, especially for like a Christian or somebody that's very much in a religion, they have this father figure that they've never met. I'm sure they think they've talked to the person or this thing, this entity, right? But you've never physically touched them. Again, it's a game of telephone. We're looking to grasp a hold of these concepts that are intangible, and the only way that it is tangible is in our own minds to really find a structure that makes sense, that we can believe in, that feels good, that hopefully doesn't sway us and misguide us in some way. So back to gardening and my house. So 13, started on that path, and I got into, the reason I brought that up is because it was right around the same time, even before I started playing with cannabis, I was getting into Wicca. I was never raised with any religion, and my parents were just, very open. We lived in nature. We had a good time. I was teething on scepters. My dad's a miner. I was teething on scepters before I could even...
I don't even know what a scepter is.
So a scepter is a crystal that has another point, another larger crystal coming out of it. It's like, it almost looks like a crystal wand.
Okay.
And so it was just interesting. I was probably just teething on any crystals I could get, besides sucking on rugs. But the idea of my parents were traveling around the country with me, and I was crawling up mountains before I could even walk. So I've always been embedded in nature, and now where I'm at with plant medicine and working with the earth, I realized that it's time for me to get beneath the earth, and that's metallurgy and a lot, working with crystals and shungite, which I have sitting here in my glass. We'll get into at some point. But my dad works below the earth and I work above the earth. But now it's time for me to bring both of those together, because there is so much. I mean, the roots, I've got cannabis roots sitting over there that I just pulled of these males I pulled the other day, and I couldn't tell you any research on it, can't show you anything, but I guarantee there's beneficial nutrients in there, and, throw it in a tea and let it go. So back to the Wicca thing, I started getting into Wicca, which is really just paganism. It's sun worship. Everything's built on nature and sun worship. If you break down every single religion ever created, the sun, the holy, like when you use these words, when you look at them, they literally are similar individuals. They all correspond with natural environmental factors. The sun seems to die for 3 days in certain parts, certain latitudes of the world, and so then Jesus died for 3 days and then was resurrected. The sun disappears and is resurrected. So it's really cool to get into religion a little bit, and just understand where we are, how we got here, because it is a major factor in the foundation of our reality and why we're dealing with so much division and issues at this point. So I had a lot of support growing up, getting into high school, doing the art thing. And I was always a free thinker, right? I mean, I can literally say I took high school literally. I was high while we were at high school. I was probably high 4 to 5 days out of the week, either high on LSD, mushrooms, marijuana, definitely, whatever it was really fun stuff. We were always experimenting. I was just doing art. So it was like, let's add more to the flair of this experience, because I could care less what the hell's going on in history, which is another thing that is, I think, really important to look at for society and parents, is the fact that we make children grow up too fast. A lot of children, again, that abandonment issue, are forced to do this. They got to take care of their younger siblings. But imagine if kids were given skills. Of course, we're supposed to learn a lot, but given skills to help them be amazing people in the world. With survival skills, all these things, how to cook. Some people don't even know how to make macaroni and cheese, it's a 2-part system. Come on. But the fact that if we gave children the ability to play until they were 13, until they were at least in puberty, or 15, imagine, and then gave them options if schools were actually good and built up well and wanted to not make cogs in the system and just spit out good little freaking peons to not talk back to authority.
Yeah, to go fill a position in the workforce as a worker bee.
Yeah.
Well, I say this all the time, like the desire to learn and play and have fun and like even exercise, right? Yeah. When you're a kid, it's not called exercise, it's called playing.
Right.
And you just go outside and you run around the woods, you climb trees, you climb mountains. Like I lived in Machias, right there on Machias Ridge.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd be up and down the cliff, going in the river, going swimming. None of that stuff ever felt like exercise. Mm-mm. It was just, I'm out being a kid. And I don't think that necessarily ever has to be taken away from your life. But as adults, hey, I'm going to go play for an hour in the woods. Everyone would be like,
right.
What are you fucking talking about?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? I don't know. Maybe I'll fucking climb a tree and build a tree fort or whatever it might be. But I also think, and I don't go one podcast without bringing up jiu-jitsu.
Sure, of course.
But I think jiu-jitsu fills that need to play.
Sure.
As an adult, or I mean, I'm sure there's a variety of activities depending on what you enjoy and what you like and what you kind of feel attracted to. But don't think, okay, what is it? When you turn 13, there's no more recess.
Right.
And so now playing is over. And then when you graduate, it's like, okay, now we're going into the workforce and all of that stuff you used to do, that's just for kids. Why is painting a picture just for kids?
They start diminishing the play aspect of it, right? They start
and
shifting
the creativity
into that.
That's in your mind. And I've even, it's funny because I've even like sat down and painted with my daughters, and I'll post a picture online, mm-hmm. and people will like bust your balls about it.
Sure.
And it's like, what, you're fucking painting? And it's like, yeah, I'm not very good, but guess what? I'm fucking just experiencing something with my kids.
Well, yeah, you would hope that they'd be okay with that just for the kid aspect. But too, it's like, are you uncomfortable? Have you not painted? Maybe you need take a painting and wine class. Go get a group on. Come on, do it.
Yeah.
See how you think. Then you'll probably come back and be like, wait, that was really awesome, man. Sorry about the comment.
Yeah.
But our opinions they blanket everything that we do because we're usually not thinking about like, oh, what would that be like for me? Mm-hmm. This might be good for me to try.
And so, yeah, I've come to terms with that more over the last couple of years because I have removed myself from that 9-to-5 grind where you get up and it's all about earning money and what kind of benefits do you have and, how much overtime can you get and all the stuff that like most people put a lot of importance on. It's just dog shit.
Yeah.
It's what it is, and the further that I get away from it, the more I feel like I can fucking breathe. And then it allows you to focus energy on yourself. And I honestly think, like, I understand that everybody has to walk some path. And in how society is structured, if you want to eat food from the grocery store, you're going to have to earn some type of money. Outside of just going out in the woods and living a 100% self-sufficient life, like, we have to understand and integrate ourselves into the society that we're in to make it work. But I also think we need to put a big emphasis on at some point that you have to do your life for yourself, and you have to be your own boss, and you have to develop like your own path, and you have to follow your own passions. And the way that the American society has structured that is you get to do that at 65 years old after you retire.
Now that you're on your way out.
And now you're on your way out. And I mean, 65 shouldn't be the end of the line for a lot of people, or for anyone really. Yeah. But when your whole life is just 9 to 5 cortisol rushing through your veins, statistically, at least like in the professions that I come out of, within 5 years of retirement, your heart blows up and you're dead. And it's like, hey, good game.
Yeah, everybody's stressed themselves out so much, and they're okay with that, because now they're going to be feeding you a little bit of money that you've paid into that you never should have had to pay any money into, and they'll give you a little tiny bit back, and hopefully you don't make it 10 years because that's all the money that we actually got. We don't want to give it all back to you, right?
Well, yeah, like dude, when I left the profession, I had a lot of people like, dude, what about your retirement? Like, what about your benefits? And I'm like, dude, if I'm going to allow those things to dictate how what kind of morals and ethics that I abide by, then bro, this is all for naught from the get-go.
Well, that shows literally how much we've all been lied to.
Yeah.
To think that these factors are literally the worth of our life, are what we need to strive for every single day. When that play, that enjoyment with your kids, your wife, your husband, your family, your friends, our collective family across this whole world. Imagine if we weren't stuck on the rat race, the hamster wheel that you're talking about, that literally doesn't do anything. It just pumps money into somebody else's pocket. I mean, we're at the point now where it's really disgusting. On YouTube, there's so many commercials. It just blows my mind. I want to talk shit all day long because I can see how damaging it is to the world and people's psyche. And yeah, there's everyone, you want to be a millionaire, you want to get into real estate, all these things. But the fact that people have forgotten so much, and I love asking people this question when they're kind of confused if they don't know the direction. Well, what you want to do when you were a kid? What are the 5 things? Bring them up. One of those are a viable option, I have a feeling. Mm-hmm. Or at least it's going to get you dreaming again, to paint that picture, to see what you want to put on the freaking painting. But they want people to just, all right, so we've got this product over here. If you can't come up with this product, well, now you just make this other thing in the middle of it and on Amazon or wherever, and now you just put it on the block, and then somebody else uses you, and you get a percentage of that person's sale. Are we really that lazy? We are all creators on this planet. If we are all part of the universe and the cosmos and part of God, then, and we all can make children, we all have a part in that system, right? Unless we go and change ourselves. But if we all have a part in that system, then we are all co-creators to create whatever it is. We have the most imagination. We know that, like you said earlier, the ability to create a destiny that is not even a possibility right now. You're broken laying on a bed, but how many people have walked out of the hospital when doctors have told them, you're never going to walk again?
Yeah.
No, that's what you think. And we're going to prove you wrong, because anything's possible. Maybe I can't regrow my arm right now, but I'm going to do everything all the way up until that, so that it's not going to hinder my ability to function in reality. And it's just sad that you look at all the symptoms, right? It's just, we've gotten so lazy that we don't even want to learn how to make a cap anymore, because it's easier just to sell somebody else's cap and get a little pittance off that.
Yeah.
It's a scrap. It's just another scrap system. And maybe you do make a lot of money, I guess, if you put all your energy and time into it. Bitcoin, I have nothing to do with other than friends, and I've invested in their projects, but I have no interest in Bitcoin because decentralized, this type of system, it's just more money system. It's more of this plague upon the planet where we're confused of the fact that we're the ones that have the worth. We're the ones that built the projects. We're the ones that extracted the stuff from the earth. Thankfully, it wasn't money that did it. That was just a trade item, an exchange value that we add to it, which also is literally worth less than the paper it's printed on at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just really sad to see these systems. And again, it's a tool.
Well,
we all need it.
I'll say this too, because it's a tool, and it's literally like any other thing in existence. It can be used and sought after and desired in a reasonable manner,
yeah,
or it can fucking consume you and fucking ruin you, you know?
On both spectrums.
Yeah. Because I do think, I mean, I talk about it on the show often, like part of winning in today's society is figuring out a way to generate enough income to live the life that you desire.
Yeah.
So wealth is not, you can't put a monetary amount on what wealth is, but I do think you have to decide what lifestyle you want to live, what your goals, what your aspirations are. Like if I want to travel the world on a sailboat, okay, then I'm going to have to earn a decent chunk of money. How are we going to do that? And then you have to build a path to do that. And I think all that stuff it's real, right? It's a path that you're going to have to walk and you're going to have to figure out. And that's why when, you know, on one hand, on the far other end of the spectrum, people will be like, I don't give a fuck about money, or I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, well,
I went through it.
You might want to a certain degree, just based on, I mean, like you're talking about that bottle and that cap. If you don't have that and you want it, okay, you're either going to have to make it or you're going to have to figure out a way to purchase it. Yeah. And it's, I don't know what the right answer is. You know, I'm trying to figure it out as we go, but it does feel like kind of in its core. And one thing that Stanaway is really focusing on is like, the more you can do with your own two hands, the better.
Yeah.
You know? And it would be interesting to live in a society where it's like, all right, you're the shaman and you have the herbs, and this guy is the metal fabricator and he builds your horseshoes, and this person raises goats for meat or whatever it may be, and we all meet each other's needs in a way that is reciprocal, right? Yeah. But with 7 billion people walking around in these giant concrete jungles where it's just so anti-nature, you know? I mean, I talk about it all the time. Like, there's people that live in apartment complexes that rest their head on a pillow at night that's 18 inches from other human beings who they've never even met. Yeah. That's so out of alignment with nature. Think about 1,000 years ago. If you're sleeping within 18 inches of another human being, you should probably know them intimately.
Very much so.
You know? And so it's just one more thing that's just, we're fucking out of alignment. And I don't know how the best process to get back in alignment is. Obviously, I don't know, because I'm just embarking on this journey. But does anybody truly know?
Well, and there's 1,000 different ways to do that, right?
Yeah.
And that's literally a blanket statement across the board to so many different applications, is there's not just one way to get healthy. There's not just one way to do this job. And that's the sad thing about the whole just being a sales page. If the internet goes down, you're going to have zero skills. You're going to be the first one becoming food, really, right? And so it's so important. And to think about, to change the mindset, like where we're at is, the issue is we have these programmed issues and we feel a certain way, we think a certain way when it's not the truth at all. To truly get what you want, you know, talking about the secret or law of attraction, magnetism, you have to, of course, want it, think of it, speak it into being, and then move towards it, do the action that is needed to achieve such results. But we also have to get out of our own way and stop doubting ourselves, right? If somebody wants, speaking of magnetism, if somebody wants a Lamborghini, and you know, just say you're not in the best place to have a lot of abundance yet, and you go to a coffee shop and you say, well, I want that coffee, but I don't know, I got to get gas later on, I don't know if I have enough. If you're second guessing getting a coffee, you're never going to get a Lamborghini. Unless some random, you bought a ticket,
win the
you
Mega
got lucky.
Millions.
It's the only way, because you're literally confusing the shit out of the universe. How I work now at this point is I literally talk to the universe. I say, all right, I'm looking for, let's talk about a fence. I'm looking for a fence that I can put around the garden, and it's made out of wood, and it's at least 50 feet long, and I'd like it to show up I need it within the month. Order in, and I walk away. I don't even think about it. I get excited about it. Whatever it is I want, I talk about it, I put it into the universe, and I walk away and I never think about it again. Why? Because if we think about it, the more we think about anything, the more the ability to sow doubt and question what we truly want becomes in. You want to go talk to that girl at the bar. Jump off the cliff now. Because the longer you sit there and think about what she might say, what you might say, what might happen, the good, the bad, the less opportunity and chance that it's going to even happen, that you're going to walk over there and even say anything. Because we literally confuse ourselves all day long.
Just create more doubt.
Yeah, we want something, but then we're not sure if we do because we overthink things. The same thing very much with meditation. Somebody asked me what meditation is. It's like, really just being aware. You're not trying to stop the thoughts. You're not trying to make the thoughts. You're just laying on the grass, staring at the clouds and going, oh, there's a cloud. It looks like a dragon. Cool. And then there's blue sky. And you're like, oh, wow, that one looks like a carrot. Cool. And that's all really meditation at the basis level is just being aware that these things are happening, but not realizing you're thinking 5 minutes down the path of just any day. And you're like, how the fuck did I start thinking about this? And you start retracing, wow, how did I get here? Well, it's because you were unconscious of the thoughts you were having. The brain runs, and that's perfectly fine. But if we let it run with junk, then we're talking more junk. We're creating more junk instead of, I've listened to a lot of podcasts and a lot of YouTube all day long. If I'm doing something, I can have my ears clued in. I got something running in the background because even if I'm not catching everything, I guarantee you, my brain's catching everything. Because we're picking up every single thing in this room right now, whether we know it or not. So it is very important to also be very aware of what we're feeding ourselves, feeding our brain, feeding our body. Oh, and that's a deep rabbit hole right there. And like even protein, I was just listening to Zach Bush, and this is something I've been talking about for a while, and he's just given me a hell of a lot more clarity around it. And beautiful, beautiful man, just so intelligent with nature and in touch with what we know about the human body so far, supposedly. And I've been being plant-based. I don't take in a lot of protein. But then again, protein is also made out of aminos, are the building blocks of protein. And there's tons of aminos in nature. And realizing that we don't really need, even if you want to be a bodybuilder and really get big, right? I can't remember his name right now, but he's one of the strongest men in the world. And his little guy says, the strongest animals in the world are an ox, an elephant, and me. And it's amazing, right? Because it's true, right? And not to say that that's right for everybody, but there is a factor in there that what nature has to offer us, again, with medicine and everything, it's all right there. It's just finding out what works for us based on your blood type, based on what you want. I mean, Jordan Peterson and his daughter, I'm sure you heard that part.
Carnivore.
Yeah, the carnivore diet blew my I had never heard about that. You're like, are you serious? And it works for some people.
Yeah. And obviously listeners of this show know that I've done a lot of stuff with carnivore, and it's made my body feel very good and very strong.
Yeah.
But even proponents of carnivore diet and proponents of veganism or whatever, a lot of people will say the same thing, is that when you go on these extreme diets, what's a natural byproduct of it? The natural byproduct of it is that you're going to feed yourself with natural foods, be it plant-based or animal-based. And food,
actual food.
So a lot of these diets, I mean, it shouldn't even be considered a diet because it's just, It should be how we fuel our bodies and what nutrients we take. But when you say, okay, I'm going to be this or I'm going to be that, a lot of times part of that commitment, you're not drinking Pepsi, you're not eating Doritos, and you're not eating Skittles. And I tell my kids when they're eating candy, I'm like, that's not food. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what it should be classified as.
Human products.
Yeah, it's truly. Like, why are you putting that in your fucking mouth? And it's like, I don't want to be the dad that doesn't allow them to go to Halloween and doesn't allow them to have the pillowcase full of candy for the night and all that stuff, because there's a part of me that's like, okay, that is just part of being a kid, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, let's call it what it is. It's just putting poisonous products into your body.
Yes.
And I think regardless of what diet you choose, and I like that you said it's not right for everybody, because there isn't a one size fits all. Mm-mm. But the one size that does fit all is cut out the bullshit.
There is truth.
There's truth.
Yeah.
That's a whole different concept. Cut out the fucking bullshit. And you're going to find that regardless of what diet you try, when you cut out the poison, you're going to be a fucking better version of yourself.
Well, we got the documentary Super Size Me, right? So if you went on a Skittles diet you're going to get a result. Or a burger diet from, and I guess we call it a burger because it's in the shape of a burger, right? But that thing that comes from McDonald's, right? If you eat a certain way, you're going to get a certain result. And the cool thing is, like you said, when you're eating natural foods, when you're actually eating food that has nutrition to it, and then there's mind over matter, we can do so much with that. And then it's also just being very aware of how it feels in our body. And, if you are taking in too much meat or too much protein just in general, maybe you need to cut back on that. If you are juicing too much and you got the runs, maybe you need to cut back on it, right? So there's just a lot of different ways to go about this. And it's going to be really cool when a lot of more people wake up to the fact that not only are we way off track, but the fact is that we've been lied to with the food pyramid. It's actually upside down, but it's also we're still learning. Yeah. So much is still being learned, and we don't know what's right, and we have to really question ourselves and question each other, and not get mad, not be opinionated because somebody's questioning the information like we were talking about that gets locked into our mind. Like, question it. Go look it up. See if it's real.
A lot of times people, and I'm as guilty of this as anyone, is once you try a system, you see some positive results, you buy off on the methodology behind it, man, you're kind of on that team now. Yep. And you're waving that team's flag.
Yep, put the hat on, wearing it.
So it's like, if you've tried carnivore and you've had great results with it, well, fuck vegans.
Right, and you start espousing that. And
you know what I'm saying? And man, I go to this, or I went to this guy's page who was vegan for a while, and he said, I realized that cutting out all animal products was not good for me. And he was a vegan bodybuilder, right? Yeah. And so he got a huge following because he was their guy. Look at how muscular this guy is without any animal source protein. And he said after 2 or 3 years as a vegan, he started seeing some deficiencies. So he reintroduced some animal products. And bro, the fact that their poster boy was no longer right. You go to his Instagram, every comment is like, fuck you, you traitor, you piece of shit. And it's just like, oh man, people are so fucking tribal,
And that's a dangerous thing, the tribal part of it, right? We become so adherent to a way of thought, and that's why I don't even like the title vegan. That's why I say plant-based, because one, we do honeys in our company.
Yeah.
And also I will totally eat eggs. If I know that my friend or somebody has awesome chickens and they're their friends and pets and they were raised really nicely, why would you not want to eat something that naturally could be eaten by a rat? You don't eat it.
That's one question that I do have for vegans, because here's the thing, like a chicken is going to lay an egg a day, period.
Yeah.
And my buddies that have chickens, like they have like free range chickens that are living out, like Stanaway has them just
super happy
running around the woods, pecking worms out of the dirt and stuff.
And it's actually good stuff going into those eggs.
Yeah. And you get an egg a day from this chicken, and that animal's not suffering.
Nope.
It's actually thriving. And the only other alternative is to let every single one of those eggs turn into another chicken. Do we want that? Or just, like you said, feed them to rats?
Attract rodents, yeah.
Or go out and stomp on them? And so you got this extremely nutrient-dense food source that, because it's associated with an animal, you got to write it out of your diet.
Right. And there's been so many lies around it as well. It's been touted as good, too much cholesterol, this or that. It's an egg.
Yeah.
Nature made it. God, or whoever you want to say, made this thing. It can either turn into a living being or hold the nutritional, beautiful value for feeding us. And it has forever. And people don't die from eating eggs. I'm sorry. If you're eating a lot of other shit and eggs, sure, you could throw that on top of the pile.
Bro, I think eggs, and this is just my opinion, but I think eggs are probably one of the best food sources to ever exist. And so that's why, like, I'm on a very restrictive diet right now, but eggs are one of those things.
Perfect.
Because it's like, yeah, it's exactly what you need, And it does. It has fats. And dude, it even has a gram of carbohydrate in it, which I don't know where that comes from.
Sugars, most likely, because there's still sugars in even embryo's diet, I'm sure, right? So there's probably a little bit of those sugars coming from the mother that has been fed in to feed the egg to continue. Most likely, it's probably a food source for the embryo while it's growing, I'm guessing.
So fuck, dude, we're already almost at an hour.
Awesome.
I really want to hear about like you said, it's called Sun now, but you've developed other companies, and the whole purpose of those is, I mean, how would you describe what their mission is, I guess I should say, rather than me trying to give the Cliff Notes version?
There as in other companies, health companies, or you mean us?
No. You and like, I'm just saying you're the Sun, the company you currently are operating.
Sure, yeah.
And
our family, really.
Yeah. What was it previously called?
It was Everyday Natural Products.
There we go.
We helped build that 5 years ago.
And that is, I mean, your mission is what? Just to bring optimal health to your community?
Well, again, with this, the mission statement before was products you could that you can trust and take every single day. Natural products you can take every day, pretty much. Now it's science should always come second to nature, because I have a laboratory. We have a laboratory that we make everything. I do all the R&D in, and I'm getting deeper into alchemy and practical alchemy right now. And so science is a really important part. I've gotten really good at math. Math was one of my worst, except for faking algebra. I feel like we had that class in 9th grade together, but I cheated in algebra so I could get to geometry, because geometry made sense to me, sacred geometry, right? I didn't even know about it back then. But science is so important, and math and all these other things. But again, nature has so much to teach us if we have eyes that are open to see, and we're open to listening to what nature wants to teach us. I mean, any systems that we have, friends that I've invested in, different systems that they're building out, they're going to be world-changing systems. Many of them have started looking at nature and applying certain terminology and structures that exist in nature to the systems that they're actually creating that are very human systems, because nature already has it kind of planned out. And if we can take systems that nature's created, ecological, reciprocal systems, and apply those to what you're creating, all of a sudden it starts making sense instead of just trying to create. I mean, chords are one of the bane of my existence. Why the hell do we have chords? Nature doesn't have chords. Yeah, it's got roots, but
it has the mycelium network.
Yeah, there are
that's
things.
That's the nature's chords.
That's the nature's chords, right? But the point I'm getting at is just the fact that we always think we have a better answer when really the answers are already there. We just have to learn how to apply them properly. I mean, like, especially when we're talking about infrastructure from architecture and other things. Like there's natural ways that nature and physics work together to create strength and foundation, yet we want to come up with our own ways, right? Not to get off on a tangent here, but the answers are already there. So with science under nature, that really is the answer. I mean, of course, to help people find answers. I mean, that's my modus operandi is literally the Hippocratic Oath, like first do no harm, which is literally, as far as I can understand and have broken down, is literally the one law of the universe.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to talk about any laws in the universe, I mean, it's create, but at the same time, first do no harm.
Would you say the stuff that you were researching and developing is based on like treating ailments, or just everyday use to have you operating at a more optimal level, or kind of like, what is your focus?
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
A lot of the research that I currently do, I mean, I'm always researching different ailments, dis-ease, and issues and symptoms that people are having. That I meet people almost every day that have something not necessarily new, but they've got something that's going to help me go a little bit deeper into the research that I already have a lot of notes on. And this all started from me moving back up from LA after 10 years and cutting off my dreadlocks, international commercial, not knowing who I was at that point after 18 years of being this character. And my dad got prostate cancer. And from that prostate cancer, I found out, talk about the beauty of just synchronicity, finding out about my last business partner and the last company, finding out about his story literally the night before my dad decided to tell me that he had prostate cancer. It was stage 2. It turned into stage 4 within a month because of prostate biopsy. Biopsies, you're poking a hole in a bottle. Now it's spraying out all over the place. Starting to realize that biopsies are a really bad idea a lot of times. And so that set me on this path of let's look at some solutions that are totally natural. So for me, to really answer your question simply, is yes, any herb or plant that I'm looking at, I'm obviously researching, okay, this plant's good for this X, Y, and Z. And then I've got notes from, neurofibromatosis to diabetes to Crohn's. And so as I'm seeing things with different plants, I'm taking these and I'm putting this plant in different categories. So I can make a gigantic list at some point where it's literally a graph and you can just go down the list and find out where that plant will help with that. There's smaller versions of that a lot, but I've never seen a really comprehensive list that creates that. But in general, yes, the products we make, from bubble bath to the honey that we make. We got a whole bunch of different honeys to oils. I mean, oils are probably the one big thing. So for us with Science Under Nature, very much same what the company was before was medicinal mushrooms and CBD oils. And obviously we grow as well. So I've got access to, we do a little bit of medical, but mainly we're into hemp and being able to work with full spectrum. I'm about to drop that line as well. We're just working with some really simple ingredients as much as possible, and that's my MO as well, is not putting anything that doesn't need to be in a product. It's crazy. You pick up the Ritz box, and I get it. As a appreciator of a food science, it's still a lot of bull, but to be able to pick up a box of Ritz and the 2% or less than is literally for palate, flavor, scent, look, mouth feel. Like, it just breaks down all these little tiny things that are just tweaking it just a little bit more to get it exactly how they want it, on top of all the other crap. One of my biggest pet peeves is natural flavors, and a lot of natural products says natural flavors. Could you tell us what it is? Because you don't just get to say this is orange juice and apple and everything else and then say natural flavors. No, those are the flavors of those things. You don't have to say this. So what is that?
Yeah.
Natural flavors are better than artificial. Artificial, completely lab made. Natural supposedly came from a natural source at first. But again, there's just so much crap that people put in products. And really, for me, the idea of making a brand, a creation, is to make something that will stand the test of time. Whole Foods is junk. People call it whole paycheck. But the fact is, I'm sure it was a great idea at one point, but my thing that turned me off from it was when I was down in LA, finding out when the GMO thing was really starting to happen, and finding out that they were actually paying to not have GMOs labeled in their store. They were actually funding that. And but that's completely contradictory to what your mission statement of organic and healthy and local and all this stuff really is. Mm-hmm. So bullshit. So you actually don't have integrity.
Yeah.
To actually find companies, and there are a lot that are starting to grow right now, I think, and because we realize that the system's not working. And how can we find companies that have been around for 5 to 10 years that literally have the integrity, they have the transparency? I'm ready to start putting up our secret ingredients on there. I don't give a shit. You want to go make it? Go ahead and make it. It ain't going to be the same. Unless you're making it with love and compassion, I'm not interested in the money. So try and take that out. Try and take that out of your creation process. It's almost impossible. Most people don't know how to do it because they want to. The idea of making a product is to make profit. Yeah. Unless you're not interested in profit. I live in abundance. I don't give a shit about the money part. It's always there. I've got plenty of it. And sometimes we don't have a lot of it. But guess what? It's right around the corner. If you're always doubting and feeling like, we don't have enough. Did you just hear what you just said? You don't have enough. So,
well, dude, I want to hear the prostate story because I'm sure the listeners are going to appreciate, like, hey, this person with this ailment, this is the program we developed, and then this is the results. Yeah. Do you have some specific examples such as that story?
Sure. Oh yeah. I mean, a couple ingredients. I don't even want to say products, because again, it's like, this is a product. This is human made. And it is a formula of multiple things. So I would say this is a product. This is not it's a natural.
Yeah, you're not going to find that in nature necessarily.
It's made from natural ingredients. So just starting off with my dad, it all came from Agent Orange in Vietnam, and we beat it with reishi mushrooms. Pretty much this product that looked different back then, but with reishi mushrooms and colloidal silver and high pH water, which was a Kangen machine at the time. And then I always add the addendum of a lot of love and support. And he decided that he wanted to. We were in the hospital, and as we were going through this process, and I dropped everything, and thankfully the commercial was fun. It was giving me funds, so I had money to actually help. And I mean, I was bawling.
Was he at a crossroads where he was going to decide, like, fuck chemo or a Western medicine approach?
This is literally the moment that I'm talking about right now.
Okay,
Yeah, we're in the
yeah,
hospital, and I'm saying, Dad, if you want to go, if you're done here with this fight, then we'll make our peace and we'll be good. But if you want to fucking fight, you fucking tell me. I was serious. I was bawling. I was swearing. And he said, yeah, I do. And so the key was, we could have done all kinds of things. There's 100 other things we could have done to do what we did and achieve the results. But the key factor was that he made a decision that in that moment that he wanted to beat it. Every single human that ever has an issue or they want something, right? It's that law of attraction. You have to decide that you are going to get that result. And whether it's tricking ourselves, fake it till you make it, I am healed, I'm already healed, man, I already got this, instead of going, I'm healing, you're always reaching for something, right? You want to be in this, you want to create the space you want to be in eventually. And it was just really cool because he did have a lot of love and support, and he was going downhill really, really fast. And he was out of it within 6 months. He had his oncologist literally kicked him out one day when we were there. He said, get the fuck out of here. Your PSAs were at a 20. You're at a 6. You're self-healing now at this point, which was really neat. You rarely ever hear a doctor say that. That's in Western medicine.
Were the doctors surprised by this? Or were they like, what the fuck's going on? Or are they starting to see this enough to where, like, I guess it's not out of the norm.
Right. I think, again, with the earlier conversation, I think there's still a wariness to trust these other medicines because, again, if your mind's not made up, you could throw all kinds of things at the wall, and unless you actually do the deep work, we're starting to understand a lot more that it's not necessarily just the food. The way I like to look at it, and also TCM and Ayurvedic, they have a lot of correspondence between body parts, anger in the liver, heart. You have a heart issue. How's your love life? Have you been holding on to something for a really long time and you're not happy about it? Or you lost a love or something like that, or somebody in the past? If we don't go through the process of resolving these issues and allow this weight onto our body, this is very much an epigenetic idea, then we're continuing to stress our body out. And what happens when we stress our body out, right? We're in that fight or flight, which we've dealt with the last couple of years, and our immune system or whatever is putting all this energy into something that it doesn't need to be doing. It needs to be working on healing the body, but we literally make ourselves sick.
Yeah.
Every single person that's sick has made themselves sick. And that's a tough thing. Unless you were born without an arm, right? And at that point I say, hey, man, you definitely chose a hell of a life to come into, incarnate into. You really wanted an experience, not easy to hear, right?
Yeah.
But again, we have to realize that we chose the results that we're currently at, and that's a very empowering thing. It shouldn't be a debilitating thing. It needs to be an empowering thing, because then that means that you can do something to it. If you created it, you can fix it. Mm-hmm. So being able to take that idea that based on the job you picked, based on the person you're with, based on the place you moved, if you're under power lines, based on the food you're eating, based on your surroundings, the drugs you're taking, the drinking or smoking you're doing, all these things. We've chosen these. You don't have to look and blame yourself. You don't want to, but you chose this. You got here somehow by choices you've made. And what that does is it empowers us to go, okay, so then I can, if I made this, if I created this, then now I can go back and I can see where the issues happened, what doesn't serve me, obviously, because it's delivered this certain result that we're currently at, this dis-ease in the body. So what needs to change now to get us on the right track? And that's the most empowering thing that I think anybody can really go through, is to realize that we make the choice. It's all up to us. I mean, there's some really, really amazing doctors out there that are sharing this as well. And so along with making the right decision, changing our mental state, starting to look at herbs and starting to take in changing our nutritional diet, right? If you can get into juicing, get into juicing. It's one of the most nutrient-dense, packed, organic, obviously, that you can get to get into your body, or at least clean up your diet. Cut out the crap at least. Like, step one, cut out the crap, and then start navigating towards something that's going to be healthy, because there's a lot of people, sadly, this is why I am focused on making sure people get what they need or what will be of benefit to them, and not focused on the money, is because sadly a lot of people, the sickest in our society, oftentimes have been raped from their wallet and literally have nothing to show for it. They're on government benefits or whatever, and that ain't shit. And so a lot of people that are the illest have the least amount of money, the least amount of abundance to get that health that they're striving for.
Yeah.
And the way I look at health is I don't think anybody should ever have to choose, whatever, anything over health. Health is literally paramount. If you want people to be happier, make them healthier. Healthy equals happy. And if we can get people there, by shit, you don't have the money, here you go, and because I got friends that do have the money. If you can donate more, please donate more, because it's going to take care of that offset of us giving so much when we can, and also actually giving of yourself without requiring a return on that sharing, right? That comes from a place of love where the intent is truly there, and the universe sees that. The universe knows, like, wow, that's a gift, and trust me, there will be more.
Yeah.
Whatever that means for that person, for you, and it also helps change the mindset. It's like they say, Gandhi supposedly did say something like it, but I guess it was another author in the 60s. But it was the idea of be the change you would like to see happen in the world, and it truly is. If we're not doing it, if you're not fucking doing what you're doing right now, Greg, if I'm not doing what I'm doing right now, who's doing it?
Yeah,
we're not doing it, so it means we're not. I don't know if you listen to any Mark stuff, but he's very blunt, and he says you might not be a good person, and that's a very strong statement to make, but if you're not doing the best you possibly can and literally doing good things in the world, are you really a good person? Just saying you had a good day doesn't mean you're a good person. There's a lot of things we apply to ourselves in a certain way to make ourselves feel better. But if we're not kicking ass at literally helping change this reality, the design of this fabric that feels better, if you just threw a wrapper out your window, you're not a good person.
Yeah.
You just threw shit in my living room and your living room and somebody else's living room. This is our living room. This is our life here. This is all of our home. And a lot of us are so dense, so dumb, so non-conscious, even though we're all conscious, but not aware of our actions, that we literally just do without thinking about the repercussions of that down the line of who else is going to have to deal with that.
Bro, I think that's probably, I don't know what percentage of society, but the overwhelming majority of them.
I know. Sadly.
And, like you're talking about wanting to change almost humanity as a whole, sure. Right? And I talk about it too a lot on this podcast, because a big thing that I push, and I do a lot of solo episodes, is pushing like your own capabilities and your own skill sets and your own health and your own fitness. And it's like, and my inbox is filled with people that are like, hey, I listened to this and I started jiu-jitsu and I tried this diet and I'm doing better, right? Which makes me feel fucking good, because it's like we're sitting here at your table sharing ideas, and someone somewhere will be enriched by this conversation. Even if it's one fucking person, it's worth our time, right?
Totally.
But how many people out there, I mean, what's the percentage of people that are not willing to allow their lives to be enriched through other people's perspectives or the messages that other people are trying to share? Fuck, man, it might be like 80%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if that's the case, I always joke, I'm like, the circle of friends you keep start to allow you to develop like a perspective of what the world is. But then when you step outside of that sometimes, and you see so many people that are just fat and sick and miserable and depressed, that are making no steps to try and change the trajectory of their life, it just makes you wonder, like, fuck, man. Or, like I saw, you see like the presidential stickers every year, and then there was one last year that's just like giant meteor 2020.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
And it's
something
like,
will change.
At some point, is it just fucking like, it's easy to wonder if we're losing hope, Well,
and I think the general idea of how that changes is people haven't, again, they've been too comfortable, and people haven't had that hit. They haven't had it hard enough, whether it's rock bottom, or they haven't had a peer. Some peer, that's why it's really good to listen to a lot of podcasts or whatever information, read a lot of books, finding somebody that you like the voice of, somebody that you like the information channeling through that individual, that can literally make you think a little bit different. That's why it's where we live in such a beautiful time right now, because if you are voracious for content, for information, not just content, but wisdom and knowledge and skills, there is no reason for anybody to not be moving down the path of becoming a jewelry maker, a shoe maker, getting into parachuting or whatever it is. There's never a better time in our life.
Information.
Yeah.
No, I say it all the time. The internet's a fucking cesspool if that's what you look
Sure.
for it to be. Or, I mean, you could become a fucking, I mean, you might not hold the cert and have the fucking printed up and hanging on your wall, but you could become a fucking medical doctor.
Sure.
You could become a fucking surgeon.
Yeah.
Based on the internet. You can become a pilot.
Yeah.
You know, what was that kid, Colton Harris Moore? Remember that kid?
Okay.
Who stole, he was a local kid, stole all the airplanes around here. And he flew one of them to fucking Jamaica.
Right. Skills.
And he learned to fly on his computer. You know, and then he went to the Arlington airport and started stealing planes out of there. And Camano Island and shit. And it's like,
and no one's thinking about a kid doing it.
Fuck, man. You know?
Sneaky.
But, no, it's a good point, man. And our society has a weird way of confusing knowledge with education. That's right. Like if you seek knowledge on your own, and like you said, you look to certain sources on the internet, you read the right books, you can become an extremely intelligent person. Mm-hmm. You just might not be educated.
It's true. Yeah.
You know? And it's like...
And we already know education ain't helping a lot of people get into the supposed workforce that they're training us for anyways.
Yeah. I heard someone at one point criticize Rogan because he doesn't have an education. And I'm like, I don't know what your metric for success is,
right?
But he's wealthy. He's living the life he wants to live.
Yeah.
He seems to have a great circle of people in his life. And it's like...
And he's at the top of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what you're doing, but you ain't doing that.
You know? So I don't know what your metric of success is, but I would imagine he's fucking there, you know?
Oh, yeah. That's great. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about when we were talking about ingredients that, you know, stories that have really helped a product, an essence of a plant that is put into, you know, bottles as a product, Nigella sativa, which anybody who knows about cannabis and sativa is quite a misconception. It never should have been used to indicate the style or variety or vibration and feel of a plant, because Avena sativa is, I was just reading this the other day. It's some type of grass. I think it's a wheat. But Avena sativa, Nigella sativa, the reason I brought this up, I want to talk about Nigella sativa. Josh Campbell, do you remember Josh Campbell from high school? He passed a few years ago and was a paraplegic.
Yep.
And so when I moved back up, we started working together, and we were going to work on some cannabis. He was really in touch with that realm since he medicated himself so much. And at one point, he was in the hospital. He'd already lost one half of his leg to MRSA, you know, being bedridden, bed sores, infections just get out of hand. And a year or so before, he'd already lost half a leg, and he's back in the hospital. He calls me after he's been in there for a month, just sweating and having a horrible time. Doctors are telling him the infection's not looking good. He might have to chop off another leg. He says, what can we do? And, well, I got this Nigella sativa I've been playing with. Let me see what I can do. I'll bring it in. So we started dosing him. And it's just an oil just pressed from this culinary seed from India in the Middle East. And this is a biblical seed. The research on it's very, very deep. I mean, it works on the brain, the nervous system, helps with the stomach. It goes in hand very well with CBD and lion's mane. We'll be using it in a lot of things as a really additive ingredient, good additive ingredient.
And I mean, I assume you can take it a bunch of different ways, but when you're administering it to someone...
It was just straight oil, yeah.
Do you take it like sublingually, or do you apply it to the area of...
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Both, yes, and yes. It's such an amazing oil, and it's literally just the squeezed oil from the plant, fresh, not fresh press, but cold press kind of thing. I brought it in, and we started administering it. He was just taking droppers of it. Within 2 weeks, the Colby campus discharged him, and later on that month, they said, "Whatever you did destroyed the MRSA." I mean, he was in there for a month and a half or something at this point, ready to lose a leg. And within 2 weeks, this one thing went in and completely destroyed the superbug of MRSA, and was able to get him out of the hospital. And then I've also put him, he was on his way out and some other things were going on, but I was over there helping him replace his bandages, and he had a hole that was growing in his arm. And I was like, oh, I've been using it on other things. We know it worked once. Let's put it in there. Literally put it in the wound after I cleaned it, bandaged it back up. A week later, I came back, maybe 2 weeks, and it was half healed. That hole that was this deep was half healed now, and I just put it straight in there just on its own. So it's amazing when it gets inside your body and works throughout the whole system for full body relief, or just topical, very much like CBD. If you want full body, take it in internally. If you want topical, then just use it for spot treatment if you got arthritis or a pain or bump or rash, whatever it is. And then, so my personal story was the only lab accident I've ever had was before we had the lab and before I was using induction stoves because you don't evaporate alcohol on a coil burner in a very shallow pan. And a really hot day, I just turned it down. My buddy Larry's over, and all of a sudden I hear this fire. He yells, points at the stove, and I run to the backside over here, and I grab it. And we're talking, it was just stupidity. It was a pan that was this shallow, and the alcohol was probably right there, and so it just
like 2 inches of alcohol.
Yeah, well, at least, yeah, and,
okay.
it just spritzed over and caught fire. So I grab it, and my dumbass pulls it off, and it splashes since it's right at the lip, right? So that hits my thumb, and a little bit of discoloration there. Anyways, I drop it to the ground, and now I got 1.5 foot tall flame of burning alcohol, chemical pretty much, fire in a wood barn, right? Like, this is not good. So then I pick that up, and I start moving towards the stairs. And the second I hit the stairs, and I'm barefoot 24/7, unless I'm in the lab, I'm out in my mom calls me a barefoot farmer. So I'm at, grounding. I mean, why not? Good thing I was, because it could have been far worse if I had shoes and socks on. It could have really ripped off a lot of stuff. So it was as probably good as it possibly could have happened. Anyways, it jumped over the front as I start hitting the stairs, and it just missed my knee, but then hit my left foot, and literally the whole area from here all the way around, except for one little inch section, everything was melted and just burned off and bubbling like terrible within an instant, because this was all 3 burns I'm pretty sure you can get. It was boiling, it was on fire, and it was chemical burn. All 3, right? So I get down to the bottom of the stairs, and I'm yelling at Larry, like, oh shit, look it up on Google, what do we do? Google it. And I get my brother, thankfully my stepbrother's firefighter. So he's just like, all you really can do is just get it in water as quick as possible and get to the hospital. So we got over to Colby, and it was a freaking fiasco. I didn't take any of their drugs. I didn't want any injections. I did take a Vicodin. It's like, I know what that is. I'll take that. I don't want you putting anything in me. But 6 hours later, I'm literally going, I can do this. Y'all are calling Harborview to figure out how to fix a burn. I'm pretty sure if you want to give me the stuff, I can do this at this point. End of the story pretty much is that I came home with very little stuff that they gave me, gauze, wrappings, and colloidal silver. Again, Silvadine, really, really important for burn victims and just to keep on hand in your kit bag. But
one thing I will say that I think is important to acknowledge is it's like when I'm trashing on Western medicine all the time, I'm still acknowledging if I'm in a fucking car wreck and I break my femur and I need emergency surgery.
Yes.
It's pretty fascinating, the capabilities and what we've been able to develop, right? And so it's not like just fuck all Western medicine, but it's like, I think if you've been exposed to some kind of fucking massive trauma, dude, we got some pretty cool shit we can do to you now, right? But it's very different than just relying on Western medicine to keep you operating optimally. I think those are just 2 totally different conversations.
Well, and that's exactly it. Yeah, I'll agree with you wholeheartedly right there. They are really good at trauma.
Yeah.
When you got to set a bone, some serious happened, you need immediate action. That's not when you go to a shaman or a medicine person. You're not like, okay, we got to move you. But that's exactly what you said, is taking pills to solve the issues of the environment, very much terrain theory over germ theory kind of thing, and being able to look at what's going on with the person. Like the issue that I take issue with Western medicine, at least doctors, when they're going to be prescribing something, is, did you even take the time to ask the person what their work and their home life is like and what their diet's like? If you didn't ask those 2 questions, you totally missed the mark. Because those will tell you so much of what that person's actually dealing with in their life and how they're getting to the place. But again, we don't want to change. We don't want to do the hard work to actually have longevity. We want the pill that will be a Band-Aid.
And check this out, because it goes both ways too, right? It's not just all the doctors are spewing bullshit. It's also a lot of people are unwilling to hear it.
Sure.
Right? Because Sheely's one of my best friends to this day. Mm-hmm. He's a doctor now. And he had a patient in there that he said, based on like, you could tell like his lifestyle, just how he was living was what was causing his ailments, right?
Oh, yeah. It's usually very clear.
And so Brian goes, to tell you the truth, man, I think the best things that you could do right now is eat clean foods, get an hour of exercise a day, try and get sun on your body every day, and hang around people that you love.
Yeah.
He filed a complaint.
What?
Yeah.
You didn't give me a pill.
Exactly. And it's like, so now not only is Western medicine, the whole system, kind of geared towards like prescribing pills for big pharma, but the other side of that is there's a lot of consumers that's what they expect. And when you do have a doctor that says, man, you need to exercise, eat clean foods, and get sunlight on your body, people are mad about it now.
Right.
Try and wrap your head around that, bro.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking nuts?
They've taken a hook, line, and sinker for sure. Right. And that really truly shows how backwards we have become.
For sure.
We're so departed from nature. It's a really, really dangerous thing. So to finish that story, then I gel sativa when I went home. I didn't take any drugs other than, well, it's not a drug, cannabis. I lit myself up on RSO is what they call it, or FICO, full spectrum cannabis oil that we make. And for 2 weeks, I was totally looped out of my mind, but I was in no pain. And
so
then,
you're ingesting a high amount of CBD.
Well, THC,
THC.
Full spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah, full extract cannabis oil, either called Rick Simpson oil, RSO, or they called it hash oil back in the day.
I've heard the Rick Simpson oil in regards to cancer treatment as well.
Yeah. Oh, in general, I mean, it can help heal skin stuff. It's cannabis. Cannabis is one of the most natural and magical plants that we will ever know on this planet. It works for everything.
I have 1% of the understanding of this plant as you, and I'm fucking sold on it. I talk about it on the show all the time.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ailments, both physical and mental, that incorporating cannabis and both smoking and using CBD products, it's changed my fucking life. And I mean, I'm sure you can unpack this better than I can, but from what I understand, we have cannabinoid receptors in our brain, that the only molecule in the universe that can bind to it is from the cannabis plant.
So we've got cannabinoid receptors, and this is the interesting that I find is that it could have been any plant. It's kind of like an idea gets dropped into the web of inspiration, and whoever's got the money, the willpower, the drive, and the ability to get there is the one that gets credit. So we just happened to be researching cannabis at the time, and it lit up. Could be the fact that it lit up the most receptor sites on the body. And so that's why it got called the ECS system, endocannabinoid system, which is really cool and beautiful. I'll totally hail that as the magical plant that it is. And so we have these CB1 and CB2 receptors. It's been a minute, but I think CB1 is, in the body, CB2 is in the brain. Could be backwards. But yes, so we have these receptor sites, and based on taking in cannabinoids from CBG, CBT, CBD, CBGA, THCA, depending on if it's been activated, when right now it's in an activated state. It has an acid molecule attached to any of the cannabinoids, and the second that it becomes decarboxylized or heated, even from the sun, it starts releasing that acid and then turns into an activated version of itself. So there's that science as well. But taking it right now, which actually, if you'd like to try some cannabis juice, I have some, the boys that I just cut yesterday. And
let's do it.
Look at that. So,
but let me ask you this. Is it safe to assume then that we have a symbiotic relationship with this plant?
I would say that we have a symbiotic relationship with Mother Earth, and this plant is an expression of that. So fuck yeah, we do. It really truly is. It's when we, moving past even the fact that intaking a plant that's so beneficial to our bodies, knowing the energy and the love and the connection that we have. Why is gardening so good for people with depression, right? Because we're literally stopping this physical 3D reality from coming into our minds, unless we're listening to podcasts, whatever. But we're getting our hands in the dirt. You talked about the person earlier who, the vegan, bodybuilder. Was he gardening? Because I'm eating fruit. And I'm pulling lettuce right off and just chewing on it, bugs and all. I don't really care. I actually enjoy the flavor now because
there's your animal protein source.
And that's exactly it. They say that there's a lot of vegans or people that are plant-based that are really low in B vitamins. Well, forever the way that we were raised, that we supposedly evolved, we got everything we needed. This is why fasting is so important as well. Can be, I should say, and be very beneficial to a lot of people. Like, we're so confused with how that we interact with food and our environment. And if we truly did evolve as, half-ape people, and we were running around, or even just regular Neanderthals, we evolved naked and afraid, running around, chasing animals, being chased by things, chewing on plants, and feasting, and it was either feast or famine, right?
Yeah.
So we would gorge for a day, and then we wouldn't eat for a couple days. Yep. So that's where the not access to glycogen came in, and we're really working with ketone bodies. Our bodies literally want to do this. They want to push us, and again, why it's so important as well is because it keeps us on our toes. Yeah. It's not the same condition. Like, conditioning is a good idea, but even with conditioning and working out, you want to change it up every couple weeks.
Of course.
If not weekly, to really keep yourself on point.
Well, and fuck, bro, I say it all the time. Like, when you become accustomed to fasting, and I don't do fasting all the time, but I've done it enough to where, I did a 10-day one time, where a day or two without food, not only is it not hard, there's a part of your brain and your body now that's like, fuck yeah. Like, I feel hungry and it feels good.
Yeah.
And man, I don't think most people in our society, anyways, even know what feeling hungry feels like. You know? And there's something about it that, like, it's the benefits of fasting are proven now.
Oh yeah.
It's no longer a fucking theory. But I think it's like, just like everything. Like, if you want to get better at exercise, you're going to have to go through some pain. You're gonna have to go through some adversity. But that's why when you're exercising, when you're out on a run, it might hurt, but at the same time, it fucking feels good.
Oh yeah. Oh, the feeling afterwards. I don't like going to the gym either, but the feeling afterwards is always worth the work that you have to put in.
You get that from fasting too.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, okay, there's a part of this that's uncomfortable, but fuck, I feel good too.
And it doesn't have to be so hard too. You can drink as much water as you want, or if you're on a juice fast, whatever it is, drink as much as you want. There's no regulation to that. If your stomach is full, and they say that you drink water first before you add food to what you think is hunger, because it's probably really what we know is you just need to put something in your stomach. And it can be anything. Water's the best thing, because most of us are low on water anyways.
Yeah, constantly dehydrated. I've been on a program where I've been drinking a gallon a day of water.
Yeah.
No other fucking shit in it. I'm not mixing protein powder or anything. It's just 1 gallon of water a day. And bro, it's noticeable.
Well, and if we're 70+% water, and water is electrically conductive, and if we're electric beings and everything's made out of frequency, like, there's your sign right there.
Yeah.
Like, get more of the high quality, hopefully spring water or structured water, something that's actually going to feed our body and nourish it in a hydrated way. Then it's really all you need. We can get into breatharian and some other crazy stuff out there, but but there's a lot of things that would not be right for some people. And cannabis is one of those plants where it's probably right for 98 to 99% of the populace. There's a very 99.9 probably, because a very small amount of people that probably just haven't had the right experience with it, or been found the right application and the right plant to work with them. But again, like you say, does it have a symbiotic relationship with us? Yes, it does. It just because it works in so many levels, the terpene compounds, the flavonoids, how beneficial it is to us, the fact that it can work for children, it works for animals. 99% of most of the mammals on the planet have endocannabinoid receptors on them as well. So what's that tell us about nature? Is it's these receptor sites, whatever they are, nature intended for other plants to be able to go in. They're exogenous cannabinoids and endocannabinoids, stuff outside of us, stuff inside of us. I got research on supposedly breast milk creating CBDs naturally for babies, right? So it's pretty trippy. Not to say that it's CBD like we think it is, but it's this version of this chemical the body naturally can create. And the research goes really, really deep on this. It's pretty amazing to see how many benefits it has. And so the Nigella sativa thing, I actually used between taking this in for the pain relief and the Nigella sativa, I would use for suppleness on my foot when it was healing, and then dragon's blood, which is Sandro de Grado. That's getting into the combo conversations there, but it's a antibacterial, disinfectant, sap from a tree, and so I put that on for when I was going out, so it'd give me this kind of dragon skin. And then when I was inside, oil, sticky stuff, I put that on, and I was unnoticeable. Within a month, my foot was healed. So it's just amazing when we start using nutrients, whether it's just a single ingredient that from a plant or it's a combination of other things, and start applying them to our body in a very responsible and conscious way, making the decision that we're also changing what we need to in our environment at the exact same time. Results can be experienced very, very rapidly, and I've seen it happen with a lot of people. But again, a lot of people don't want to go the full mile, right? And I kind of soft-handed with some people because I can see, when you got people that are this big, that there's a lot of things you need to change. You're full of inflammation. Your body's communication breakdown is through the freaking roof. And that's a really, really hard thing, because the more we do stuff that doesn't serve us, it just breaks this communication. That's why CBD on its own works amazingly, and even in conjunction with full spectrum and the rest of the plant, that's magic. Imagine if all over your body, and this is kind of my methodology, I just really see that there's a lot of miscommunications going on in everybody's body. If we're not feeding it the right things, inflammation creates blockages. And so imagine if there's these train tracks all over your body and they're broken, right? And the communication can't go through. And we have something gets hurt, it sends a signal to our brain, brain-body connection. The brain figures out what needs to be done. It rallies the troops, gets the nutrients going, and starts fixing it, just like blood clotting factors and such. But if that track's broken anywhere in there, something that it's trying to shuttle over to it can't get to it. And all of a sudden, that's why healing's taking longer, or the healing's not happening at all, because there's so much density, so much toxicity, heavy metals, chemicals. We don't even know what's coming from the sky and all the crazy shit that's going on to us right now, let alone in our food, if it even is food. Is it food? No, it's a product. So of course, there's going to be a hard time with people healing. So they have to not only make up their mind, but they have to literally start getting rid of all the crap, evaluate everything, evaluate your water. Water's number one, diet's number two. Number one actually is your brain. Brain one, making up your mind. Water number two. Number three is food, and then four is adding other supplements in your environment, changing things like that. I've got a whole protocol list. The second somebody gets sick, I'm like, just check this out. Yeah. There's cheap to free options. We might have some. There's ingredients. I can point you in a direction. At least there's some information here. Whatever resonates with you, go in that direction. There's 20 things on this list, but something's going to jump out at you, whether it's vitamin C or the Nigella sativa, cannabis. Some people don't want to dance in cannabis because they've got Class C driver's licenses, they work for the government, they got P-tests. That's why CBD's worked out so well for us.
Let me ask you this, because I've had a ton of people have positive experiences with CBD, but then you always have people who are like, I took that and I don't fucking feel anything.
Sure.
Is this system that you're saying it has roadblocks and is broken, that's also the system that's going to transport the nutrients that you consume from point A to point B. And so do you think like people that are very out of alignment with their own health may have less benefits felt from using some of these things until they do start to find like an overall healthier approach to life?
I wouldn't say that. I would say it's an interesting thought, and I would definitely say that they might not experience the benefits right away. All right, it's like the reishi mushrooms. Our lion's mane has always been a major hit because some people notice it the second they take it. It shifts some people's consciousness or experience right away, whereas another person, it might be an hour or so later on, they realize that they've got better cognitive performance, memory retention, name recall, things like that. Whereas the reishi,
the lion's mane.
That's the lion's mane, right?
Okay.
And like the stories I have about this with Parkinson's, my dad's wife's dementia, it's amazing, really, really, truly amazing. But the reishi usually, unless it's somebody with seriously low white blood count or something going on in their blood or in organs having an issue, this usually takes a week or two to build up in somebody's system to where they just realize that they're feeling a little bit better. They're having their better sleep, or maybe their blood level, their blood sugar level is better, whatever it is. So this with my dad, this was pretty funny. We're driving back from the hospital, and a nurse ends up calling him, and she asks, "So Ed, have you changed anything? Started taking any natural things, or changed anything in your protocol?" And he goes, no, what's going on? And I'm like, well, it seems that your blood levels are a lot thinner than they should be, so we're going to actually bring the warfarin down. And we had started giving him the reishi mushrooms a month before, and it's a natural blood thinner, which there are a lot of natural blood thinners. Obviously, you don't want to go too far with any supplement. Anybody that's listening to this and paying attention to supplements, if you've got a surgery going on, always stop every supplement unless told to keep it going 2 weeks before surgery to make sure that your blood and everything stabilizes back down, because things can be thin or coagulated too much. And then with any supplements as well, workout supplements, every 3 to 4 months, take a week or so off and cycle off so that your body doesn't become reliant on these amazing things that we're feeding our body. But yeah, it's really, really cool to see the results and just to hear these magic stories of somebody gives it to their cat. I haven't even made the animal version of that yet, but people trust it so much for themselves, and it is such a simple product. It's literally 3 ingredients: a hair of alcohol for one part of the extraction, mostly water, and then the mushroom extract inside of it. And it's just really neat that's, I think, the biggest pleasure that myself and probably many people get out of creating things out of the earth, is just the amazing results people find, and hearing the beautiful stories that people have of life-changing results. Maybe they have their animal that's been around for a year longer, but the doctor or vet had only given them, a month to live, or even humans, multiple years, right?
Yeah.
And to be able to take the edge off and also increase the vibrancy of that being's life as well. That's the best thing we can ever ask for, is to keep something out of pain. Earlier part of our conversation, it's important. It's so important to be aware of our body, to actually feel pain. Opium, poppies are an amazing plant. Mushrooms, cannabis, opium. Some people are like, oh, bad, right? I'm sorry, they were all put here naturally at the same time we were, or before us. Our arrogance says that it's bad. Well, yeah, when we got, the military over there with all their guns protecting the freaking fields, and it's being used those people are being used to produce things for our system, for drugs. Yeah, that's not a good way of doing it. But if you're growing a plant, or you find the plant, find the mushroom, it's an amazing nutritional value that we can intake if we're willing to utilize it respectively. And be aware of what moderation is, talking about other plants, burdock root and comfrey and these other plants that you can find. Some plants are really, really strong out in nature. Even elderberry is amazing, but when it's fresh, it can be toxic because there's some other chemicals inside of it that you need to cook first to like deactivate it, I guess you could say, right? So it's just knowing, like, there's red ones that we were always told as kids, don't eat the red ones. It doesn't mean they're bad. It's just at the level that you could eat them naturally. It's not like a blueberry. Don't do that, right? So we just need to know how to actually work with these plants in the right way and educate ourselves. And again, that's not an easy thing, because people don't want to educate themselves, but finding something that really does excite us about whatever industry we're in and going in that direction, that's what's going to raise the passion level.
Do you guys have any products that is like not just wellness based, but like performance based?
Working on that,
because I know like cordyceps.
Yeah,
I've fallen in love with cordyceps.
Oh yeah, well, lion's mane is performance.
Okay,
for sure, definitely. We had some jiu-jitsu people down in, and even the the CBD too. CBD, I would say it's performance based because it's gonna break down inflammation. And anything that's going to lessen your inflammation, it's going to speed up your recovery time. The lion's mane is just fantastic because it speeds up reaction time, right? So if you're a boxer, the cognitive ability to think faster, to move faster on your toes, how could that not empower us a little bit more? And I've got tons of research. I got pre-workout subs that we're going to make at some point, post-workout, and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be really, really exciting. But yeah, I can apply most of the products that we have to most things. I haven't targeted too many of them to specific types of ailments, other than sharing information that can be used for certain ailments. I know that you liked the Boost before, and so
I really
this
like that
one was made. It was back engineered. I made it as a tea for to beat the big C, right? And because of that, the combination of the reishi and the vitamin C in there, they really feed something bad its own destruction, which is really cool. Uncloak it and just knock it out. And it turned out to be a really good product. We had made it right before the covert popped up, and we had already knocked that sucker out before we even knew what it was with this, which was really, really neat to just know that it works. And it's got elderberry, and it just works on so many different levels in the body to really, Boost is the name we came up with just because I think most people recognize it, but for those listening, Not everybody with autoimmune issues wants to boost their immune system. That can be the issue. That can be the confusion, hypo and hyper, right? Either underactive or overactive. But it supports a lot of the products we make. I haven't really targeted anything to push something in one direction. Of course, this is a natural blood thinner, so you got to be aware of that if your blood's too thin already or if you're getting a surgery. But most of the products we made are pretty valuable across the board for almost anybody. They're not going to really go too hard unless you take something. We had one customer, I'm completely transparent. We had one customer call us up, and she was the one that we beat the covert before we knew what it was. I was still working on finalizing this formula and sent it down to her. And anyway, she trusted it so much because it literally did what Western medicine couldn't do after a month of round of antibiotics, 3 specialists. They didn't know it was bacterial or viral or whatever that is.
So this was after COVID?
No, this is before.
Or before.
This
okay.
is literally January 2020, and sent this, or 2020. And so we sent this down. I'm gonna try it, and literally she felt 60% better the next day after I created this little tiny protocol, and then brought it down to her another bottle, and she went back to work the next day, and she was out for a month, right? So it's just she trusted the product so much that she started taking it every single day for the last 2 years, and so
I can understand that. Like, if this bottle is in my fridge, I'll take a shot of it and I'll feel good, right? Yeah. I love that stuff. You've given me it in the past, and then it's kind of like, I want another shot.
Right.
Oh, I want another shot. Yeah. Oh, I want another shot. And then it's just like, dude, I'm just gonna drink this. And then before you know it, this whole bottle's fucking gone. But I'm like, bro, that's how I am with everything.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of us are. A lot of us do overuse things. It's easy to, especially when things taste good. I guess that's a good thing about some herbal concoctions. When you do take too much, it can be an overload on the system. So a bit too bitter is probably a good thing, because that's the universe, that's nature actually telling you, like, hey.
Yeah, slow the fuck down.
Yeah, this isn't going to taste good. Oh, and the point that I wanted to make about the opium earlier is that, as with anything, right, but specifically with pain, we're supposed to feel it at 100%. Now, you just got your arm chopped off, or you're doing a surgery. You don't want to feel any pain. Getting teeth pulled, sure, totally good for that moment.
The Civil War soldiers probably wish they had some.
Exactly, not just turpentine. So that cap of 100, we'd never want to go past 100. For moments, 100 is good. We want to be probably anywhere between 80 and 90% when we're really dealing with something, because we want to feel it, to know that we're still healing and that we're not overexerting ourselves when we shouldn't be walking, even though it doesn't feel like the pain's there anymore. It still is, and now you just made it even worse.
Well, and check this out, and I'm sure you probably heard this story 100 times. It's not unique to me, but I kind of feel like I've kind of discovered this on my own, is that I'll smoke to do an assessment and a scan of my body.
Sure.
Right? Because you want to listen to that pain, right? But sometimes pain is just naturally very minute. And it's like, when you smoke, it kind of heightens your awareness. And if whatever you're feeling, you feel it a little more intensely.
Sure.
And so it's like, I'll smoke and then almost visualize like a scan going through my body and be like, oh, my right elbow feels a little out of alignment. What's going on there? Did I tweak it at practice? And it brings awareness to injuries that occurred that are such a low level injury you might not even notice, but then it allows you to focus on that too and heal it. And I know that sounds fucking crazy to a lot of people, but it's a fucking fact, man.
I wouldn't say it's crazy at all. I think that you found a way to use it as a tool very similar to meditation or stretching, right? When in those moments, we're focusing on the body and just being in the now, where we've shut out everything else pretty much, and we're able to be present with our body. And so that's what you're using cannabis to smoke and become present and more focused on what's going on and kind of shutting everything else out. I mean, that's what a lot of people use cannabis for, not me, because I love the thoughts that are coming out of my brain. Give me more. But most people want to shut the thoughts down, right? They want to calm them down because they just won't freaking stop, until you get on this path of creating as much as you possibly can, whether you're making music or art or, formulas. There's no stopping that. And that's a cool thing. I think once we get into a realm that we love, I'm sure you feel this, we just come up with more ideas. And we start funneling that energy into that space, and it navigates that way, and it just starts expanding at such an exponential level. It's a really, really cool thing when you're excited about it, obviously, and you're doing something that you're really happy with.
Yeah.
I'm going to go grab that drink.
Okay.
And we're back.
All right, so we're back, and Azmyth has brought, I guess I'll just let you describe what this is and what's in it. And
to your health and
cheers.
shiny skulls.
What do we got here?
So this is fresh squeezed cannabis leaf, hemp leaf. They were actually boys that we pulled out of the field yesterday. And you really just throw it through. We got an Omega juicer, slow mastication, throw it through and juice it. You can add water to it if you need to wash your leaves, but this is literally pure, just straight juice. And I didn't weigh the leaves, but it was 2 formidably sized boys. And you can see it on our Instagram, my personal Instagram.
Which is?
Azmyth Unofficial.
Okay.
So if people are looking for me,
I'll put that in the show notes, like always.
Yeah. Just look at my name, Azmyth Kaminski, or Azmyth Unofficial, if the band Azmyth had taken it already, or studio.
This is fucking this is delicious.
Right?
Yeah.
So the other ingredient to it, it's just really just ice, fresh squeezed hemp leaf, and then lemonade.
Okay.
I usually use Santa Cruz lemonade, organic Santa Cruz. But yeah, it's quite delicious, right? For a fresh squeezed green drink. And so the lemon really kind of softens it out. I'm sure there's a little bit of sweetener in there, but
it's like you said with certain things that have like just a little bit of bitterness to it. It's like maybe that's something you should listen to, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to drink a gallon of this probably, because you can almost feel that a little bit.
Oh, and drinking it straight, it tastes like the underneath of a lawnmower. Not that I've ever licked a lawnmower, but I'm guessing that it would taste like that. So yeah, it's really, really strong, really potent stuff. And I've got some friends that swear by it. I mean, I've been wanting to make a product with it for years, but as with any juice, especially this, because separation happens pretty quick. But after about 3 days of it sitting in a jar, it starts separating and going like putrefying. So really, you only got a couple days. Whereas a really good cucumber juice or apple or something like that, well, you might get a week out of it. Although it's better to get it as quick as possible.
Well, and you see, like when you go to the grocery store, if you buy celery juice, it has an expiration date that's like a week or 2 out, and it makes you wonder, like, fuck, man, like, how do they?
Pasteurization.
Okay.
Right. So there's heating is one way of getting around adding preservatives to it. But at the same time, it's destroying the nutrients. The enzymes are literally getting burnt up. That's why I did tons of research before I got a juicer, because there's a lot of fast spinning ones that are really loud, plus it's quieter with a masticator, but mastication, I saw a study out in Australia, and they did a pretty good study on it that showed quite a bit of difference, variables in the slow pressing of something as opposed to heating it up. Even though it's not a lot of heat, still the amount of enzymes that were left over in the juice from a mastication style to the spinning blender.
So is mastication considered cold pressed?
Yeah.
And that's because the centrifugal force or the friction of a spinning blade creates enough heat,
right,
that is detrimental to certain nutrients?
I'm guessing so. I've actually never looked into, I said yes, but I've never looked into cold press, and I'm guessing that's what I just did, was cold pressing it. There was no heat added to it. Yes, it makes sense that would be. I've never looked at the larger machinery that would be involved in that, but it most likely is something like that. And to get cold press, you just have to have such a large amount of that material to be able to produce it, because like I said, I can add water to this. If I want to clean the leaves, you'll get a hell of a lot more material. I mean, I did these 2 big boys. You can see it in the pictures. I got 200 milliliters. It was like not that much. That's if your shot is an ounce. So it's really 6 shots worth off juicing 2 freaking whole males.
Uh-huh.
And so it takes a lot. But the cool thing is it's very valuable because of pruning. So the friend that got a friend that had probably come down and help prune here shortly, he said that because he's got some health issues that he's dealing with, and he loves fresh squeezed. And a lot of people, if you're the best way to use cannabis, and again, you asked the question of, I've got some chainsawing to do. This is unactivated. So one, it came off hemp, So there's not going to be almost any THC in it.
I see.
But even if it was a medical plant with high THC, still you're not going to get high off of it, right? Animals' digestion are a little bit different. I've heard plenty of stories where it's like, all right, I found a bunny that ate my patch, or a deer, and now you're dinner, right? And they're high as fuck laying on the ground, right? So there must be something different in the digestive, and we know
what do you have to do to THC to make them where the psychoactive properties do affect you from eating them?
So
I eat edibles.
Yeah, it's heating it, right? And there's a whole nother factor. I don't know the whole science around it, but digesting, once it's been heated, and the way that our body breaks it down and turns it into a whole nother form of Delta 8, it's a trip. Delta 9, how it works, because I tell you, all the psychedelic experiences, everything I've done, some of the hardest ones I've ever had were from eating way too many damn brownies. It's just that dark place it takes you to.
How many milligrams would you guess you've eaten at once?
Oh shit, dude.
When you're talking about like going to the fucking moon.
Couple hundred easily. Yeah, at least 200 to 300. Because the problem, I lost 3 days one time because I had made a batch of brownies. Living in Everett, made a batch of brownies, and you're watching movies, you get stoned, you eat a brownie, and then you're hungry again. So you get the munchies and you eat another brownie, and then you get in this dangerous cycle. If you got a whole pan of brownies there, you get in this dangerous cycle of that's the only thing you can get to, but you need to eat. And so you just keep on pushing this high out and out and out. Yeah, it's rough. Don't ever take more than 2 brownies with you to bed. That's what I learned there.
Yeah, bro. I've never had that issue.
I've been around a lot of it.
I took about 100 one time on accident.
Wow. Yeah.
And just like you said, it was fucking dark.
Yeah.
And I was paralyzed, which was obviously just a byproduct of my mind telling me I was paralyzed.
Yep.
But Jenny was like, you're fine. And I bought one of those, you can get those like little, what are they, 1 milliliter, 1 milliliter syringes of oil that have 1,000 milligrams in them.
And that's pretty much FICO, unless it's distillate. If it's really clear and it looks like honey oil, then that'll be a distillate.
This was like honey, and it was thick.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost like tree sap. It was like super sticky. And
pretty much dab oil at that point.
The guy at the store said, bro, like, just make sure. Because I said, what's your strongest oil? And he's like, this. I said, okay, how much is in that? And he's like, 1,000 milligrams. I was like, come on.
How the hell do I dose that?
I was like, come on, dude. This is 1,000? Because most whole bags of edibles is 100. It's 10 candies or chocolates that each have 10.
Well,
right?
imagine the concentrate that you're working with, most likely, if it was a distillate, went into making those candies, but it was sparsed out.
And so when he said 1,000, I was like, are you serious? And he goes, bro, put a little dab on your thumbnail, like the size of 1 grain of rice.
Yep.
He goes, that's what I recommend. And so because it's so thick, I'm trying to squish it, and I'm putting too much pressure, and it goes, and a blob.
It's usually the case.
A blob like the size of a pea went out on my thumb.
And you don't want to waste that.
That's why I was like, well, come on. That's still a small amount, and just licked it. Went downstairs, because what I would do is I would eat an edible, and then I'd go downstairs and do like an hour of mobility and stretching. And I do it with my daughters. We call it like nighttime gymnastics, right? Because just like I was saying, I feel like I kind of get more in tune with my body when I have some THC in me. And so we were stretching, and then I started to go too far down the rabbit hole. And I told Jenny, I said, hey, I have to fucking go to bed, because some crazy shit's starting to happen. I was seeing fractals and shit.
Nobody's going to want to see me in the state that I'm about to.
I looked outside, and the leaves in the trees were like turning into geometric shapes and shit. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to get fucked up.
Yeah.
So I went upstairs and I laid down, and I could see out my slider all the trees out in the swamp behind my house. They were just coming to life, like all these shapes and shit. And then I went to try and move, and I couldn't. And I was like, oh, fuck. I'm
done for.
I can't. I'm paralyzed. And I tried to move. I was like, okay, just move your right big toe. Just move it 1/4 of an inch. Nothing. Oh, I'm fucked, And like, dude, that shit got scary, because then I started telling myself, like, dude, you're the protector of this family, and you can't even move your toe. If something terrible were to happen right now, you would literally have to watch your daughters get raped. And I was like, your mind starts going down these crazy dark thoughts, right? And so Jenny puts on a Rogan special because she's like, let's put on something that'll make you laugh. It didn't help at all. I was so
Rogan,
fucked.
he can get dark too.
And I was like, nope, like never. 100 million. And I don't know if it was 100. I looked at the oil afterwards and saw how much was out.
It's a good chance.
And estimated about it. And I was like, fuck, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. If a part of a milliliter, if 1/10 of a milliliter was missing, then you took 100.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right? It was about. So
that's nuts. Yeah. Cannabis is a really, really strong thing. And again, that's the same thing with opium. Mother Nature will tell you when you've gone too far. There are repercussions or a situation you're going to have to deal with when you don't do it and respect it and use it in moderation.
Dude, I think about like in today's world, it's so easy to get access to all this stuff. You can walk into any fucking store and you can buy that fucking little syringe of oil. Dude, how many kids are buying it and like shooting that whole thing into somebody's sandwich or just something?
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? That shit has to be happening
Meltdowns.
all the fucking time. And I can't even imagine. I mean, I like literally, I can't imagine my whole fucking world shut down and was fucked off of 100. What would 1,000 do?
Right. Yeah. And especially to a mind that's so young and not structured very well yet. Right.
Yeah.
You have been through a lot of hard experiences where you've got a little bit of skill to navigate that water.
I think, you know, Joey Diaz, he eats like 500 to 1,000 at a time. It's like, and obviously I know cannabis is a tolerance too.
There's a normalization
You know,
factor.
like for me to get really high on edibles, I have to eat between 30 and 40. Whereas Jenny will eat 5 and is just fucked.
Right, yeah.
You know, but still.
Yeah, the size of the individual, the use of the individual. And there's a lot of people that I've worked with friends that have, like, they're medicating, like Josh, they're medicating 24/7 as much as they can get in just to take the edge off of what they're dealing with. His situation, he ended up making a bad decision, slip and sliding. But I had another friend's sister that I worked with for quite a few years. The medical system just effed her up real bad, and from pharmaceuticals when she was way too young, and just like this little tiny ball of a human that was falling apart, and every single thing we could get to her, I was making stuff for her. We were getting stuff from Have a Heart and just throwing everything in the wall just to keep her medicated. So it's a trip. There's certain people can handle it just to handle it, like Joey Diaz, or some people literally need it. And thankfully we have this plant as such a beautiful medicine when it's not regulated. And humans, I mean, I'm sorry, like mushrooms should never be regulated.
Of course
any plant, no plant should ever, I mean, except for scopolamine, which comes from, it's a datura, I think, is down in South America, and really, really dangerous. It's the one that they hear about, like in Colombia, where people will literally give away their whole house. They go to a bar, a little bit of dust, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're hanging out with somebody, and then you're like, oh yeah, no, let's go back to my place. For sure. Oh, you want that too? Go ahead, take that. And then you're helping load your apartment up into somebody's van. Like, there's crazy stories that people have had. And so that's a place where, yeah, we need some regulation around a plant, because that's a dangerous fucking plant. But these plants are so beautiful and so magical at any level of age, and so beneficial to us. No human, no regulation should ever be on any of it.
I'm of the mindset that I don't want regulation on really anything, because
right there with you.
I don't care if it's methamphetamine or heroin. Like,
It's your body.
It's your body. And if you want to put shitty things into your body in a responsible manner, go fucking do that, right? But as soon as your choice to use whatever substance you're using is impacting others through criminal activity or impacting your community,
medical system,
because you're fucking, you put a tent up in front of someone's store and you're pissing and shitting at their front door, like, bitch, we have a fucking problem now.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think allow people to have the freedoms to do what they want with their own body. But if your choices now start impacting other members of your community, this is where we have a system where we do administer some type of punishment or justice.
Which is such a nasty hypocrisy, because one of the worst things that people do already is drink and drive. But that's totally, I mean, I know that's illegal, but the substance abuse that happens for that is totally legal. Is one of the most legal ones, because it breaks people down. They like that.
Well, I was just going to say, that's another thing. Like, you can't come to the table with a legitimate argument about why cannabis should be illegal. Or I say the same thing about testosterone. I love testosterone, right? And
you're a guy.
Yeah, exactly. and I've been on TRT for a while, and I think it makes me feel good. But regardless of what side of the fence you're on with TRT or cannabis, fucking every single store in America has Mar breads and fucking alcohol.
Wow.
And that fucking kills people. Period. You know? And
it's like the energy drink for adults, right? Because any kid, I don't think there's a cutoff, even though there should be. It should be 18 and older for anything that's above 150 milligrams or 200 milligrams. Because I've heard of stories. You probably heard it too. People's hearts have stopped from drinking too many freaking energy drinks in a day. That's just as bad.
Yeah. Bro, and those things are fucking addictive as fuck, man.
Oh yeah.
Like when I was
they can taste like candy. The vapes and
bro,
things.
when I was a cop, if I didn't have some type of high caffeine drink by mid shift, I was like, felt like I was falling asleep in my patrol car and getting a fucking migraine. And it's like,
so your brain was actually reaching for it as well.
Man, I know that I'm becoming addicted to this stuff, but it's also, if I have one, it's going to make me feel good and it's going to make this go away. And it's like, yeah, that's called fucking addiction.
Well, it's a nasty cycle, right? Let's talk about something else for a second. So Kratom.
Okay.
Love Kratom.
Bro, I've had some interesting experiences on Kratom.
Yeah, well, dude, I'll tell you, the very first time I took it was too high of a dose, but the effects were very much like ecstasy. I've never reached that state again, not that I'm reaching for it, but it was just really interesting to experience this euphoria, eye flutters, talk about amazing experiences, drunk, liberated, just fun, wobbly body feel. I made a bunch of formulas in the lab that night. But it was really interesting. It's a leaf, just like a coca leaf. Coca leaf should be legal too. Now, of course, humans come through, step on it, throw a bunch of chemicals into it, piss in it, whatever the hell they're doing, make this horrible freaking drug. But as natural, the Incans, as a leaf, you chew on it. It's one of the most amazing things you can do for yourself. Chewing, it doesn't really taste good, but in theory, you could do that you're going to get some benefits. Maybe not the opening of the capillaries like a coca leaf, but Kratom is an amazing leaf that's been used for a really long time.
So what would you describe Kratom's usage as?
Kratom is really good for helping people become more energized and get through pain. So it's a really good, a lot of people use either the green or the red are probably the most two known about in the veins. The red has a little bit more of a sedative property to it and usually a little bit more pain relief. And so people do use it a lot for mitigating pain that they've had for a long time, be it back pain, arthritis, things like that. But I will say, one of the things I've always talked about is I love the green. I love energetic stuff. I'm super energized already, and I can always use more. Why not? But the green, talk about if you ever have a day where you feel just a little, CBD does this as well. This actually adds a pretty big effect. Like you were talking about, like, do you feel something, right? Some people don't feel anything. The cool thing about CBD is that when it's working for somebody, it's not about what you feel. It's about what you don't feel anymore, right? So all of a sudden, that thing that was bothering you doesn't exist much anymore. The pain, the out of balance, anxiety, depression. And so this actually does add an effect, a feeling. So the DEA and all these other dorks don't like it. But how beneficial it is, I would love to work on it with somebody that's an extreme introvert. Because I tell you, if I've got someplace to go and I just don't really feel like getting out of the house, it's been a long day, maybe I got to go make an appearance at some place, at a party, take a little bit of this, 20 minutes, half an hour later, I'm going, well, what do you want to do? Let's do something. You need the energy to finish cleaning the house? Holy crap.
So I should take some before I leave to go cut trees down.
Oh, dude. It's amazing. I'll give you just the right amount. Sure. Yeah. And so again, with anything in moderation, 5 grams is pretty much the cap. It's about a tablespoon for people that have serious pain and issues that they're dealing with. But at that level, you're starting to push into, all right, you're probably going to need more if you start taking more. And so same with these plants. The one difference with this is that it is very beneficial specifically for people that have had opiate abuse. Why? Because it acts on similar opiate receptors. So there is a bit of a danger there because I understand, like when you're talking about pills, I've never done heroin. I think I accidentally took it in an H-bomb once with that. It was supposed to be an ecstasy pill. So I've experienced a little bit and it was not fucking cool. But when you take something, opium's amazing. Whew, you want a relaxation? Holy crap. You ever get a chance to smoke a little bit of opium? Smoke it. It is one of the most beautiful. Like, you want to be relaxed to 100%, literally dangerously. Make sure you pucker your asshole. 100% within a minute of smoking it, gone. All pain, everything, gone. I understand why they use it.
When you say you've never done heroin, but smoking opium.
Yeah. So heroin is
I don't even know the difference.
So opium is poppies.
Yep.
Then opium, and then inside opium, heroin, codeine, morphine. There's certain chemicals in that they make and that they extract from opium. Opium's the raw. Like me, I'm a raw guy. I am straight up with how nature intended it. If we can get it that way, that's the best way to do it. It's how nature. Those are the way that we have receptors to actually utilize it. Smoking, I look at it the way that vapes, right? Vaping is a hell of a scourge right now. It's not great because it's good because it can get people off. Again, certain things are really good uses to get somebody off of something else. But once you become reliant on it, it becomes another habit and another addiction. Smoking cigarettes, not a great habit. But our bodies, supposedly we evolved in caves with fires. Our bodies can handle a certain amount of carbon dioxide and fumes and things like that because it's naturally occurring burning of plant material. But
do you have kind of an opinion on how much smoking is reasonable versus when does it become a hindrance to your body? Do you think
anything the second you say I need?
Yeah, okay, I like that.
Anything, anything, unless it's water.
Yeah.
Or sleep. But even sleep too, right? So it's really just water.
No, it's really interesting that you say that because I'll smoke maybe half a joint in the evening just to help me go to bed and relax and unwind. And then I sleep way better, right? And I've went through bouts of insomnia where I'm fucking awake all night for what feels like months on end. And you just turn into a fucking zombie.
Sure.
And so when you find a protocol, like, dude, I smoke and I go to sleep and I wake up ready to conquer the fucking world. Why would I want to stop that, right?
Right.
And then it gets to the point where sometimes I feel like, oh, well, you're now dependent on this and you do need this.
What if you're in another country and you can't bring it with you?
That's exactly right? And so then I'll be like, okay, well, you need to take a break from it then. And then a few nights away from it, I'm like, fuck, man, I really want to smoke.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that's the exact reason you shouldn't. Because you're telling yourself you need to. Yeah. And I don't know what the right answer is on that yet. I still try and find the balance. And I wonder, is smoking half a joint at the end of the day enough smoke where it will damage my lungs at some point? Or is that a reasonable amount? I don't know.
As far as I know, and when we're just talking about cannabis smoking, as far as I know, I've never read a research study on anybody that ever got cancer from smoking cannabis. Just like you can't die from smoking cannabis as opposed to opiates. It literally doesn't help shut off the breathing apparatus in your body, whereas opiates do, right? Yep. People just stop breathing on opiates, which is fucking nuts. So yeah, it's being able to, what I would say would be that need that comes on, as with anything that we do, it's finding enough tools to where I've read it was like a tapping thing. The guy was a drummer and it was a TED Talk, and he talked about how there was this repetitive motion. You can do this tapping, this little drumming thing on your legs before you go to sleep, and it just helps you go to sleep. Or if it's a meditative practice or stretching or whatever it is, or if it's a cup of chamomile, although then you're getting into, again, intaking something, right? With stuff that we can do with our body is what I would say, find different tools that help us mitigate or add to the experience of getting ourselves into a space where our minds aren't running away from us. I mean, that's the two biggest requests we've had for forever. 3, topicals, obviously, a lot of people like topicals, but for energy and sleep, which is interesting because
they're opposites.
They're opposites, but they're literally pushing each other in those directions. People want more sleep because they don't have enough energy. People need more energy because they're not having enough sleep. It's just crazy. Like, we're in this cycle that we're dealing with. And it really is that, whether it's coffee or cigarettes or stimulants, or there's just so much stuff. We're watching TV at night. There's so many things that we do to ourselves that are throwing us off. And we can literally sit down and make a list of all the things that we do and then look at the negative ways that things are affecting us, and just the positive and negative. Same way you're going to pick a new life path. And if we do that, we're being very honest with ourselves of, right, here's the simple things I need to change. And don't drop them all off at once. Like, don't stop smoking, stop drinking, and stop doing this all at the same time. Do one at a time so it's not as harsh on the system. Most people can't go cold turkey. Most people don't know how to just cut it off. I've been smoking spliffs for a while now. And I'm pretty much ready to stop, because I know how much of a conduit I already am to work with people, and imagine how much more clear you can end up getting when you cut out all things that just aren't the cleanest and clearest and purest version of you. But to each their own also. There's sometimes that it's been really hard for the last couple of years now. A lot of people put on a lot of weight and drank too much, but in the moment, sometimes you just lost a loved one. If you need to have a fucking drink, have a fucking drink. Don't have it every night, but have a fucking drink. There's everything in moderation. It's important for us, even earlier in the conversation, it's important for us to be happy. If you want to have a Skittle, have a Skittle. But don't eat a bag every single week, or 3 times a week. It's everything within moderation. Let's actually make ourselves happy. Let's be conscious of the things that we're intaking. Let's be responsible, and let's actually care about ourselves. And be aware for each other as well. I mean, that's why we love listening to so many things, because we're taking little tips and tricks from so many different people and bringing them into our constitution of building ourselves up to be better people that can work into the world in a more beautiful way to help more people. And just whatever feels best, do that. I'm pretty sure what feels best for you is probably going to feel good for the next person as well.
For sure. Yeah.
Not what makes you feel cool, driving fast, cutting people off or whatever, or getting there first. I said, what feels the best?
Yeah.
It never feels good to cut somebody off, unless you're a total dick.
Yeah.
Woohoo, got another one, right? But that's kind of the consensus I have with that kind of stuff. It's important.
I love it, dude. Well, fuck, man. We're over 2 hours. I try and keep the episodes now at about 2 hours. So I'd like to wrap it up with this, man.
Yeah.
If you already gave out your Instagram on where to find you, and I'll add that to the show notes. But if people are interested in any of the products that you showed today, and I don't know if your plant's in the way of the YouTube. Yeah, pull that plant away for a second. So if you're looking, obviously, like, this is all the products that you offer and that you are creating through Sun.
Yep. Lots more too. We're about to have our launch event on the 13th.
Okay.
Which means we already had the launch event.
And, because this will be coming out a couple days after that.
It's a great event. And we'll be launching a bunch of new products. The whole lines are already built out, rebranded as the new company that we are.
Okay, and it's scienceundernature.com.
Yep.
And they can order everything right online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything should be operational at that point. And if not, just give us a call. But everything we should have our merchant processor all worked out, and COAs and everything looking really, really good. So yeah, we got medicinal mushroom products, bath product. It was just amazing. Water soluble CBD products, the immunity product, 5 different types of mushrooms. Actually, we'll have cordyceps released at that point. We've released chaga now, turkey tail, and then I've got a combination as well. And then we should have our full spectrum versions as well out there, so people can actually start getting stuff with THC at the regulated amount in it. Hopefully the kratom has been bottled as well, although can't get that on the website. I have a feeling, because that's something that you get in a lot of trouble for.
Is it regulated now?
It's not really regulated.
Was a free-for-all.
Well, I'll put it like this. It is. I'll put it like this. It's just like some websites or bank don't like CBD because it's still tied in with cannabis, which is completely ridiculous considering you want money, get into the game.
Yeah.
But this one is a little bit more sensitive. So people, we're in Snohomish, Washington. People are able to call us up. We're super family friendly, super customer based. We will take care of our people and get people the medicine and the help that they need however we possibly can. That's what I deal with personally on the daily. Usually people find us when they're at their ends wits and they don't have anything else. They've done the Western medicine thing and they're really just grasping for straws. And so then they find us and we start giving them some new ideas to some hope, really. I mean, truly the thing that I do is I'm really good at listening to people, I hope. And I'm able to share that ability of giving somebody support and hope, because that's the abandonment thing, right?
Yeah,
a lot of us feel like we've been abandoned even by the medical system. We just don't have hope to get into a place where we can actually find healing and feel healthy. So, so the website, scienceundernature.com. Find me at Azmyth Kaminski on most social media platforms, if not Azmyth Unofficial. But yeah, you look me up, you'll find out stuff about Pirates of the Caribbean and all kinds of other crazy stuff from my past.
That's right.
A lot of fun stuff.
All right, well, cool, man. I appreciate it, and I'm sure we could talk for fucking hours, so maybe we'll do it again.
You know it. Sounds good. Thanks, brother.